That's hopefully though, man. If they don't, oh well. Boom. Desktop stream going. Okay. The fact that I have 2,100 subs is amazing and dope at the same time. Is my display capture displaying the shit that I needed to? Okay, it is now because I was stuck on the damn cam shit. That shit was blowing me. What you trying to do that after? Yeah, I might just figure it out after my stream. I ain't gonna front. Panera. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out later. No bullshit. I know it's easy. I'm just thinking a little too hard about it. So yeah. Dirk said that. Nigga, Dirk said what, nigga? And I already know, sorta. I already know that that's your bum ass over there. You got me over here cursing, and it ain't even been 2 minutes into my stream, man. You feel me? I ain't monetized yet, no way, so I don't really care. Now, what's good, YouTube? Well, today, we finna get into reaction, head ass. Fuck out of here. But yeah, let's get into this, we finna get into this Tommy G video, man. Remember me? Seda. I think. I really don't. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really don't remember you. When would you tune into my stream? Was it like recent or was it a while ago? When y'all ask me that, y'all gotta realize that my hair look wild as hell on here. Y'all gotta realize I do streams every day and hella new people come in here. So I really don't remember most people that come into my streams. Unless we like chopped it up or some shit. Damn. That shit is fucked up. Am I chopped? Fuck it. I might be chopped. Hold on. Let me pop some shit up on OBS real quick. Is it docs? Yeah, docs. And then chat. Yeah, I'll just pop it up like that. Let's go back to display capture. My shit ain't got no lag no more. Which is insane to even think about. The fact that the shit don't lag. Did you figure out the screen problem? Hell no. I just I low key just said fuck it, bro. I ain't gonna front SB. Pretty much just said I just said fuck it and I said fuck it and I'll figure it out later. Really. It's a way that I could do it through like uh it's a way that I could do it through Stream Element and It was another way that I could do it through some whole other shit that I had to download too, but I ain't feel like doing all that, bro. Which I definitely had a brain aneurysm trying to figure that shit out while I was on stream with y'all, which was type really hindering my process of streaming, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I thought one of you motherfuckers in the chat would have knew, but I don't know. How DK gay is literally a clip hanging out the Glock. Nigga, I know that. Obviously, you just learned that, bro. It's just the fact that you typed it in my chat, and the way you typed it, it looked gay. So I had to get you up out of here for about 10 minutes. Now you on another account trying to tell me some shit that I already knew. Can you play Blue Cat? I don't know what that is. Is that an instrument or some shit? Hey man, but y'all go tune into my other stream, bro. Y'all go click on my page and y'all go click on my page and click on my page right now if you in here, and go click on my other stream. That's how niggas say it. Dirk say it too. You know what, bro? I'm not gonna say another goddamn word to you because obviously you're dumb, nigga. I said I know that already, bro. You don't have to tell me what other niggas be saying and how it said, nigga. I been knew that. You from like Montana or some shit trying to tell me what niggas be saying and how shit is referenced. Like, shut up, nigga. God damn. Fuck you think this is? You gonna tell me about guns and clips and shit? Shout out to you though, man, but Jesus Christ. Like, let's chill. And I'm finna tune into my man's Tommy G. If you own this stream, go to my other stream right now, nigga.
Can you please just hear me out? No, all work management platforms are the same. They take forever to learn, and in the end, nobody uses them. Monday.com.
I do get firearms and stuff.
Yeah, it's a magazine, not a clip. Right, tell this nigga, bro. That's the proper term. Or you could just call them mags for short.
Yeah, probably the most dangerous you can have. It's literally.
Don't pay him no attention, SB. He think you from Chicago. But he not.
I need to put food on the plate. I ended up selling it to somebody who ended up taking it to California and making money off of it, so everybody ate at the end of the day.
2009-10 was like our Wild Wild West days out here where we were in chases every day.
And what are the odds someone has eyes on us right now?
Oh, pretty good, dude, because these are all Scout Hills.
At what age would you say you officially joined an organization?
So I was about 10, 11 years old.
We spoke with a cartel member last night that alleged that one of the ways it gets through is paying off Border Patrol, paying off police.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that.
What is the cost to buy a Border Patrol agent?
$9,500.
In a good month, how many guns can you get across the border?
I want to say close to that. Using fairness.
The power Mexican cartels have accumulated is hard to fathom. With Jalisco New Generation Cartel and the Sinaloa Cartel leading the charge, these paramilitary crime syndicates have global reach. They are heavily armed, deeply connected, and absolutely ruthless. Specializing in drug trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, and more, these organizations pull in billions of dollars every year. And the United States plays a part in this because the ugly truth behind some of their power is American guns. Now, as Americans, we get mad about the fentanyl flooding across our border. But what about our guns that are flooding into Mexico? In this episode, we expose the pipeline. From cartel operators to U.S. gun smugglers running thousands of firearms across the border to the law enforcement agents fighting to stem the flow. These folks are the players in this deadly supply chain of power and violence. And would you believe that some of our own three-letter agencies might be involved? This is the story of how American guns end up in the hands of Mexican cartels.
Stop saying that and shit. I'm gonna cut you some slack, bro. Matter of fact, when you cut you some slack, click on my page, go into my screen, nigga. Just spam W's. Do that right now, nigga. If I don't see no W spam just at the chat, I'm on your ass. Go spam W's right now, PQ.
Is it true that different people in the game are on the run right now?
If you really my man, nigga.
Most of the people I know just either their people either got hit by, one of the three people that were going out there raiding people, or just had some shit happen, or some people didn't know how to do it, and they gotta go on the run. So Mexico is just the go-to right now. States are too hot. State troopers, border patrol up in Phoenix.
So do you have a fear that if you did a bad business transaction that someone would come looking for you?
I don't fear for my life at all in this situation, just because throughout this whole business, I've been clean business. I see myself as a way of just normal, civilian that's out here just trying to make money. So you're gonna have the gun itself, where the gun is, who's the one that's either gonna get it or who has it. I go buy that off that person at a price where I can make a profit for myself. Or I send someone into a store to go get something from me, and I have my people that I sell it to at a pretty good markup. They send it to one of their kind of workers, drivers, and just gets taken out of Mexico in like units.
So you don't physically drive across the border?
No.
Would you say you have a dangerous job?
Yeah, probably the most dangerous you can have. Because you're not just dealing with, legal issues, you're also dealing with territorial issues.
For those not familiar, the Sinaloa Cartel is one of Mexico's most feared and notorious drug cartels. It was led for years by El Chapo Guzman, a ruthless kingpin famous for running a global crime empire and escaping a Mexican prison in 2015 through a mile-long tunnel. He was recaptured in 2016 and extradited to the United States, where he's now being held in ADX Florence, America's most secure prison. He's locked up alongside people like infamous gang leader Larry Hoover and the Boston Marathon bomber. And with El Chapo behind bars, Sinaloa's future has never looked more uncertain. But make no mistake that from Chicago to California, Omaha to Phoenix, the Sinaloa reach is still quite powerful. All right, folks, we have a sheriff pulling up from Pinal County. He's had a lot of experience in the field. We're going to be interviewing him as well. You have the wildest collection of patches that I think I've ever seen. If we interviewed a cartel member last night, what are the odds that he would be Sinaloa given the control they have in the area?
If he's not Sinaloa, then he's risking his life.
What's your process to do it?
It's literally just storing it away and sending it about its way.
And are you physically driving it in a car, or do you have other people do that?
No, there's a chain of command and there's people that do that. You can go into a gun store right now and buy, your typical mini-me, something like that for $9,000. But if it falls out the back of the truck, I can get it for $5,000.
Do you work for one primary cartel, or do you freelance amongst many?
Just one.
Is there any difference in how difficult it is to do business from the Biden administration to the Trump administration?
There might be a couple hiccups, but it's all business. It's all the same. Honestly, it's crazy. I can't imagine the border right now. People are scared to go.
Damn, he worked, bro. He worked for the Sinaloa. I hope he ain't been paying attention. Oh, let me go see if he spammed W's. He ain't spam no. Oh yeah, he ain't spam no W's. I'm on his ass.
Cross more than ever before. The risk and like the paranoia of it, you know, because like some of this shit is like they'll load your car up with like $20, and like imagine trying to drive across the border, like thinking that, and then if the X-rays gonna pick you up, shit like that, and it's nerve wracking. You know, like once the border got tighter, you know, things got harder to get into America. You know what I mean?
Was it actually that easy with Biden as president?
I felt like there was a lot more things coming in.
Is it noticeably more difficult now that Trump is in office?
Yeah.
Under the Biden administration, it was a free flow of everything. The people have stopped coming across so much. I mean, we're way down. I think we were at about 7,000 to 12,000 a week, and we're at like 300 to 700 a week now.
At what age would you say you officially joined an organization?
So I was about 10, 11 years old.
It's like Bam Adebayo. My cousin got zipped. Look at what we got.
Yeah, keeping the pages like Bam Adebayo. My cousin got zipped.
That shit is so garbage. Rusty.
Yes, it is.
There's some comments on it.
There was a study done by the U.S. government from the Government Accountability Office that found that 70% of firearms found in Mexico traced their roots to America. Does that surprise you?
That's probably lowballing it.
Yeah, it might even be closer to 80, 90.
No, if anything, I feel like it would be a larger number.
Closer to 80, 90% maybe?
Yeah, probably closer to 90.
How much power do the cartels have in places like this, in Arizona?
On the American side, they are very smart businessmen, right? They don't, they're getting a little more overt about their stuff, but you just don't have a lot of in-your-face like you do in Mexico, right? We don't have rolling gun battles here. Sinaloa holds pretty good control of our state. They have not given it up, and they've been here a lot of years.
Are there people in America that are officially part of a cartel, or is that only if you live in Mexico?
This is going to stretch all over the world. We'll just put it that way.
Now, according to Arizona law, these gun smugglers could face up to 10 years in prison if caught for the crime. But what's interesting to me is the same U.S. government that will hammer these guys for selling guns also like to sell a lot of guns overseas themselves. This has happened a lot of times in recent history, but let's just highlight a couple of recent examples. Take the Soviet-Afghani conflict in the 1980s. The CIA funneled tens of thousands of guns to the Afghan fighters, the Mujahideen, to win the battle against the dreaded Soviets, our enemy at the time. Fast forward a few years later, the same Mujahideen fighters that we armed with the guns that we gave him, some of these guys later turned into the Taliban, which was really good for the military-industrial complex because this fueled another 20 years of war and profit. And most recently, for the United States politicians and arms manufacturers, we have sent billions to Ukraine and Israel, which some could say the U.S. taxpayer is indirectly responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people, including women and children. So while a low
So you're telling me my tax money going to bombs and for people to bomb other people? And what's my point of me paying taxes then? There's no point. Like, that's dumb.
low-level smuggler might spend a decade behind bars for moving a few rifles across the border. The corporations and politicians who benefit from this arms dealing will walk free. Because when the violence is industrialized, no longer a crime. It's just good business. Is there any misrepresentation of the American media about the cartels? Like, basically that they're horrifying terrorist organizations?
Yeah.
That's not how they picture it, though. It's so media, it's so brainwashed, and they say, oh, the cartel, it's so runs this whole area, and if you go there, they're gonna kill you, or listen
That loose ass ski. Jesus.
that. Yeah, the cartel might run a specific area, but as long as you get there and you're not causing no trouble, or you're not there to steal from nobody, or just sell anything, you know what I mean? If you're just there on good terms and like checking in everything,
Do you think that's a fair picture American media makes of them?
no, that's easy to make with something that you can tax. You gotta take care.
Nigga, like I told you, click on my page right now and go spam W's in my other chat, boy. Or I'm timing your ass out, nigga. You got 5 minutes.
Our own people, you know? The government ain't helping. We see cartels sending, you know, side bombers or people in the United States to go do mass shootings and get their agenda across or anything. You know, most of the things that cartels do unless it's someone in America who's working with them and fucking over somehow. That's when they'll go after you as a person in America.
What do you think about Trump potentially labeling cartels as terrorist organizations?
That he should start here with the people on their side.
What do you think would happen if Trump tried invading Mexico or drone striking cartel operations?
It's not that big.
Currently in the news, the U.S. and the Trump administration is considering using drone strikes against the Mexican cartels. But how do we know if these stories are biased, how they're being framed politically, if we're getting the right scoop on what we're being told? This is where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Ground News. What they do is they pull thousands of stories across the internet and compile them, and they rate the reliability of the story. Shows me more of a full and complete picture of what is happening in
The Italian mafia. They are very family oriented. I can tell you from the Mexican side of my family. We have family gatherings all the time. We have carne asadas. We get together and play loteria, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. The difference being when they go to work, it could be to go skin somebody alive that's their enemy, you know. This road in particular is a major smuggling route, and I've had a lot of chases on this route.
And what road are we on right now?
We're on Stanfield Road. These mountaintops will have scouts on them. So all of these valleys out here can have routes where they are pushing people and product up, and they use those routes. The scouts guide the loads. When they get up here to kind of the civilization, that's when they'll hit these regular routes, blacktop routes, on the freeway, shoot up into Phoenix, because Phoenix becomes the hub.
And what are the odds someone has eyes on us right now?
Oh, pretty good, dude, because these are all scout hills.
Why is torture used so often amongst the cartels?
Pain is the best teacher.
I wonder if I should raise my prices.
So you're a runner, go to a gun store, get it. Let's say it's me. If I get flagged, okay, that's a mission that went astray. If not, how often would you send a guy like me to get it again and again and again?
I mean, I've had people that, you know, you wouldn't believe the number of stuff they cut out under the name. It's really kind of strategic in a way, because the way the background checks work is it'll show up as, you know, either a pistol or a rifle. It doesn't go into the system as that specific firearm unless the ATF is flagged and involved. You could have someone go store to store, get 5 guns in their name, just one day, clean record, all that stuff.
For you have someone in your family that has died from gun violence in Mexico.
Yeah,
Do you blame the guys in America selling the guns?
I don't. I just blame the shooter, really.
How do you feel about being involved in a business that arms the cartel?
It sounds worse than it is in a way. I mean, you think about it is, what I'm doing is basically doing what larger corporate companies have done with other third world countries. You know, Taliban has all guns made in the USA. What I do is I still make those people money. You know, the big corporate, big gun industry still gets money from me, but I also make some money myself in a way by just doing what they're already doing, but on a smaller scale. Even if I stopped what I was doing, someone would just come and fill in for me. Might as well try to make my money in that way, and it's something that's happening in a whole different country.
So gun smugglers will risk prison time for a few $1,000s of profit a month. But what about the big players in what some would call the military-industrial complex? Let's just look at the Russia-Ukraine war, for example. Lockheed Martin's stock hit an all-time high. Raytheon's production lines are going off the charts. Billions of dollars in weapons have flowed across the Ukraine border and across the European nations that are gearing up, looking to refill their arsenal in what has proven to be one of the biggest spending sprees in defense since the Cold War. Now, this is where the gray area comes in. Is this right? Is this wrong? Because whether you look at Ukraine, Israel, Afghanistan, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. I don't know the answer to all this, but what I do know as a tax-paying citizen is what I've gotten out of the deal are dead soldiers, civilians, destruction, a bad reputation globally, while
And no money. We don't get no money out of funding all this bullshit, man. Tell them to give us our tax-paying dollars back.
these companies in the military-industrial complex
man.
have reaped the profits in the billions.
Well, I don't think the gun manufacturers make the guns to give to bad guys to, like, rape, pillage, and carnage their own countries. So I don't think that's a good way of looking at it.
What made you choose this job over anything else you could have done?
Honestly, the thrill of it in a way, and just a large interest in guns on my part. The money's there. I got lucky with, finding some people. Honestly, I think this is a lot morally acceptable than drugs, safer than drugs, less corrupt, less dangerous,
So my mom was in jail, I need to put food on the plate, and then once people started offering me guns for product, and like tremendously, like no product, when we were like damn near getting a gun for free, that's really what changed my eyes, because of some kid who went and robbed a car and found a gun in the car, and he was scared to have it at home. So he came to me and he said he didn't want that. He'd rather have a little bit of weed.
How much weed do you think you gave him?
Probably like 7 grams. And like that same night, I ended up selling it to somebody who ended up taking it to California and making money off of it. So everybody ate at the end of the day.
2009-10 was like our Wild Wild West days out here, where we were in chases every day, load vehicles, stolen vehicles going south.
So he just fall out of that car? That was crazy. This is what Arizona is like?
They would go to Phoenix. They could have a stolen vehicle out of West Phoenix down here within about 40 minutes. And so they would run stolen south. They would cross them over because there's parts of the border just south of us that are just barbed wire fence like this. So they would cut that shit, drive across, and drive the stolen into Mexico, load it up with dope, and then drive it back northbound under the dark of night. And so we would be out here in night chases with them, going after blacked out vehicles, chasing them through the desert, trying to get them before they got to I-8. The scouts would all coordinate their movement. So we would have counter scout operations where us and Border Patrol would work together to try and take the scouts off the hills when we knew loads were coming, so that they were flying blind essentially. And then under the last presidential administration, it was so wide open that they didn't need any of that stuff. Nobody was stopping them. So, and there were so many of them that there was just a flood of people coming through, a flood of dope coming through. Border Patrol was tasked out in all these other areas. It was like Thermopylae for us, man. I mean, we were up against, tens of thousands of people, and it's really not even our job, right? The immigration piece is not the sheriff's job, but we were stuck with a lot of this stuff. Our military was essentially teaching other countries how to defend their country, right? And
guys, we got to cover some more cartel history, because American guns are not the only thing that the United States has contributed towards the rise and dominance of Mexican cartels. Let's take you back to the mid-90s to Fort Benning, Georgia at the School of Americas, where for decades and still today, this was a place where Latin American military forces were brought to practice skills in things like urban warfare, interrogation tactics, and psychological warfare. The School of Americas has since been renamed due to many former students committing various coups and human rights violations across Central and South America. Classes here are taught in Spanish and oftentimes led by U.S. Green Berets. One of the groups that was trained here was GAFE, one of Mexico's elite special forces groups whose job it was to raid high-value targets and combat narcotics operations. In the 90s, about 30 of the GAFE guys eventually defected from the Mexican military to work for the Gulf Cartel, which they later left to create their own and one of the most feared cartels of all time, Los Zetas. Now, the majority of scholars agree that this was not some CIA psyop on purpose, but rather an unintended consequence on the part of the United States. However, there are known cases of former special forces guys being put on cartel payroll to teach their soldiers and sicarios advanced tactics. Just food for thought as we look at the history of how some of these cartels came to be. What's been your biggest month in revenue so far?
I think the best run I had is I made $70K in 4 months.
It's cold as fuck.
Amazing. I've never felt that level of accomplishment before in my life.
Have you ever been visited by a 3-letter agency?
Allegedly.
How is that?
Pressuring, in a way. One of the things you want to do with that is you want to have them talk to you. Doing that, I was able to find out, in a way, what they knew about me. Where also I reflected where I went wrong, other factors, and how much they knew,
So you kind of stayed silent and let them talk?
Yeah.
this is the Obama solution here.
So someone could be camping out here and someone's hustling a load.
Yeah, and we've had that happen where there's been people out here either hunting or just camping for a weekend, and they'll have a stolen vehicle in the middle of a chase, run right through their campsite and blasting up here to the interstate to get away from the cops. And so this whole area is kind of, again, just like the other area, all the high points, you're gonna have scouts. There's usually scouts on this hill, and there's scouts a little bit deeper in, and so they're watching over the valleys.
The cartel member we spoke with last night said that if drone strikes were taken against the cartel, we really escalated against them, there would be a ripple effect where they're gonna escalate the violence here and try and, I mean, do you see that as a potential chess move that really results badly for the American citizens?
No. If they just look historically at the U.S., they would understand that that's a really stupid statement to make. I think it was Japan that woke up the dragon, right? I don't think they understand what they're saying. Like, that's fine to say, and there's a lot of machismo in that. Like, hey, if you mess with me, you come after my family, I'll come after your family. That's all fun and good, but when you go to war on the U.S., that's a whole different level of fucking with us that we're not going to put up with. And I don't think they understand the hate that would come their way if something like that were to happen.
Do you ever have sympathy for some of these guys that like, hey, while I don't agree with what you're doing, I get why you're in your own situation?
Yeah, man. I mean, again, having a wife that's Mexican, there's some of her family that are involved in some of this stuff. I don't hate them. It's family, and they're doing what they think they need to do to get by. And again, it's all circumstantial, man. What you're facing in your life and how you're dealing with it, I definitely have sympathy for that. I don't think it's right for them to do what they're doing to get their money or to get ahead or whatever, but I can't fault them for trying to get ahead and do well for their family.
People, I think, in American media, like, it's almost like these guys are monsters. Like, are these guys just normal people in a way?
Yeah, they're normal guys and gals in the sense that, just like us standing here, we can sit and have a conversation. Now, in the right circumstances, would one of them kill me if they could? Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't get real personal. They're just trying to do their thing. And so it is what it is.
So you would have survived on your own from an early age?
Yeah, well, I have my sisters, really. It was really my sisters helping hold it down. Once I seen, the pressure put on them, it takes a toll on you and me, you know what I'm saying? I'm the youngest of 9. When my mom was locked up and my father passed away, you know what I'm saying? It was really just me and my siblings. And I have my older brothers don't have papers, they're in Mexico, you get me? And one of them already died. So it's just me and my sisters, and then I have a brother who really be on his own world. So I really had to either step in or step out. Once you get into this, the money is here, this is really what makes you, a little bit as that extra, especially now in this society where the bills take up everything, all the money you make, every job you have, every dollar you make is gonna go to a bill. You get me? At least now, right here, I'm able to feed my family, pay my bills, and still, go have some fun.
Are a lot of these guys balling off of this?
If we were to catch a group right now, they look like hammered dog shit, man. They just beat up because they've been hiking for 4 or 5 days through the mountains. A lot of times they're drinking a concoction of meth and fentanyl and cocaine, and so they're all wired up, not feeling shit. Rattlers and stray bullets will get you every time. So you can see there's kind of a depression here and kind of bushes and stuff like that. You can see how the grass is kind of beat down, which means there's been people in here. And then you'll start seeing the black bottles that's traditionally smuggler trash. They carry the black bottles with water all the way up from Mexico. There's parts in Mexico where they're buying all this stuff. They're buying the camouflage, they're buying the black bottles.
And what goes in the black bottles?
Water. They black them out so that they're not shiny, visible. And so you'll see them kind of scattered throughout here. You should start seeing some of the clothing and stuff. So they've, by the time they get to this point, they've already been backpacking for 4 or 5 days up from Mexico. Then they get here, and this is kind of their final staging point where they will kind of hang out and wait for a ride to come get them. And so typically speaking, this is where they kind of discard their clothing, discard any trash that they have, and jump in their ride and go. So they'll they'll get in this little cut here, and you can kind of see from the grass pressed down, they'll just get in here, rest, and wait for their ride to come get them. And I mean, we're 10 yards off of Interstate 8, and so car will pull up, give a signal, they'll jump out of this spot, go load into the car real quick, and then they're off and running. One thing they did start doing too is when they know that we are onto them because of the stuff they're leaving behind, they would start collecting it all into a trash bag or whatever, and then they would have one person take it off 100 couple yards away so that it didn't give away their position as much.
Do you have any opinion of the new Mexican president, Sheinbaum? Like, has she changed things at all with how you guys do business?
Money talks.
So it's business as usual in Mexico, officials are being paid off, police forces are getting paid off, and business keeps going?
Yeah.
How hard is it to bribe a police officer?
Here?
Well, yeah, I guess compare America and Mexico.
That's the same.
You can bribe people here?
Oh, yeah.
What percent of cops in border towns in Arizona would you say are in some ways paid off?
At least 3/4.
At least 3/4?
Oh, yeah.
And how much does it cost to buy a cop?
It just depends. If it's a one-time thing, you throw them a couple grand. And if it's an ongoing thing, you put them on the salary, you give them, 3 or 4 grand a month.
There's really that many American cops on payroll like that? We spoke with a cartel member last night that alleged that one of the ways it gets through is paying off Border Patrol, paying off police.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that. I know from the years that I've worked that we've had compromised Border Patrol agents, we've had compromised officers. So same thing, they make a lucrative offer to somebody who is not making very much money, and people compromise their integrity for that. And
have you ever had to fire somebody because you caught them doing that?
Yep, we worked a case when I was working undercover. We had one of our guys that was involved, and we had to work a case on him and ultimately arrested him with the help of the FBI.
Now, I'm going to throw out the number he said, which I think is kind of crazy, but I want your take on it.
All right.
He said, about 60-70% of the Border Patrol and cops.
He's full of shit. Not on the U.S. side. The Mexico cops are more easily compromised, and on that side, it is the threat of violence, because way back when we talked to a compromised Mexico police officer, and he told us it was as simple as this. I was trying to be a good local cop. I was just watching traffic, and I was stopping speeders, and I got blocked in by 2 vehicles, and a guy gets in the passenger side, and he said, "Hey, you know who I am?" And he said, I knew who he was. He was a local cartel boss. And he said, "Hey, we want you to work for us. All you have to do is not be on this road from these times to these times, right?" And the guy said, "No, I'm not. I'm an upstanding citizen. I'm not part of your crew, none of that crap." They said, "Okay, here's a picture of your wife and family, and we have eyes on them right now. And you basically have 60 seconds to make your choice, whether you're with us or against us. And if you're against us, then your family's going to pay the price, right?" And so all I had to do was not watch this road and keep my family alive. And so it wasn't much money at all, dude. You're talking a couple grand. And for that particular time, right? We think that he had done it more than that, but you're talking a couple grand is what he had compromised himself for.
I couldn't believe and didn't quite buy the numbers that many U.S. Border Patrol agents or U.S. cops were bought and paid for by the Mexican cartels. So I called another Sinaloa contact of mine to see if he could add some insight on those numbers. Here's what he said. Would you agree with the stat, 60 to 70% of them?
I feel like 80%. They either want drugs or money. Some of them don't even have a choice. If you say no to the amount of money, like food, you don't have a choice. You feel me? We control you. I have a couple of them that go pick up my people and pass them over. You feel me? All you have to do is follow instructions.
What is the cost to buy a Border Patrol agent?
A week, $9,500. But remember, some of them would get a kilo, some of them want some kilos, some of them want some yellow, you feel me? So some of them want money, so some of them drug.
Even after talking to this guy, I still doubt those numbers. I feel like these guys only come in contact with Border Patrol agents that are corrupted, so in their view, all of them are. But I just can't believe that the majority of Border Patrol agents are bought. I just don't think it's true. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
What you make in a day here is what you make in a month over there. My brothers live off $150 a month. USD, let that sink in. I can make that in one cell, one gun transaction. You get me? I can make way more than that in one gun transaction and send that over right there.
In a good month, how many guns can you get across the border?
I want to say close to 1,000.
1,000?
Damn.
1,000 guns.
Close to 1,000.
The cartel guy we
1,000
spoke to
guns?
last night claimed that in a typical month he might be able to
What's
get
up,
1,000
Snake?
guns across the
Snake.
border. Do you think that's credible?
Yeah, that's absolutely credible.
Is it even possible that he's downplaying it?
Probably, yeah, because he's not wanting to get his bosses in trouble.
So you have a few runners
Yeah.
daily going.
Yeah.
Is it with Border Patrol too? You can buy off Border Patrol?
Oh, definitely.
So like you have to, because obviously you don't just stroll up there and ask, like you have to meet him at a bar, you have to, like how do you initiate this?
They're sent to train.
What does that mean?
They're sent to the academy.
Tell me about the clashes going on right now. Are things fairly stable or is there a lot of battles happening?
No, right? I mean, there's always going to be, you know, a tug of war between powers. It goes through its dormant times. Right now it's active.
The danger he's speaking of refers to the war currently happening within the Sinaloa cartel. Since El Chapo's imprisonment in 2017, the group has splintered, with two main factions now holding power. One is led by El Mayo, a co-founder of Sinaloa and some say El Chapo's equal. The other is Los Chapitos, led by El Chapo's sons, known for being younger, flashier, and more aggressive. Their turf war has triggered waves of violence, including this recent story detailing the deaths of dozens of teens in Mexico. And from what I've heard from sources close to the action, this fighting is not expected to end anytime soon. What attracted you to this lifestyle?
Did you know that in Texas, rifles can be carried in public without a license? Whereas in Florida, no open carrying is allowed, except in unique situations like in hunting or fishing.
Honestly, the adrenaline.
Is it terrifying working for a cartel?
Stressful, not terrifying.
So as long as you follow the rules and kind of do honest business, you're kind of in good standing, there's nothing to worry about?
Yeah, you know, you do business as a man.
The one thing I wanted to fact check on to see if you had a perspective on is Trump's claim that the majority of people coming over are murderers and rapists. In my boots on the ground journalism, I found out most of the people are just looking for a factory job, fast food job. They're not a murderer. Do you feel like that rhetoric was accurate or a little overblown?
I would say that depends on the area, dude. Because like this area right now, we see military-aged males all camoed out, moving up, and those males are all at that ripe gangster age. And a lot of them, when we jump the groups, they are gang members. So if you're talking this area, absolutely, he's absolutely right. This is Thugville out here, man. It's all gangsters, cartel members, guys that are trying to fly under the radar. You'll have a few good people mixed in with that are really just looking for a better life. The other problem that we saw here in Arizona was a lot of these military-age males, when they got to the border and got across into the U.S., they immediately discarded their passports, any IDs, anything like that. They got rid of them, burned them, whatever they could do with them. Why the hell are you going to get rid of your ID if you're not up to something nefarious?
So it did seem sinister.
Yes, absolutely.
Once you're in this, is it possible to leave, or are you pretty much in it for, for life?
You can step away. Easiest way to put it, you're a reservist at that point. As long as all your corners are covered, you turn into a reservist. So if you're needed and you're called up, you better show up.
How dangerous is it for you to even do this interview?
I'm risking a lot doing this. I'll put it that way, I'm risking my life. Let's just say that.
And folks, for all the readers out there, get this book. I got the link in the description. If you want to learn more about real boots on the ground law enforcement experience, I recommend you get it. Links in the description. Power and legends of the Mexican cartels have long fascinated me, and it's my goal to cover the story in Mexico one day if I can find the right contacts to do this safely. Email me at TommyGMcGee123@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram to reach me if you think this might be you. I also wanted to remind you guys to check out Ground News because I think in this era it is more important than ever to be properly informed and aware of what legitimate news might be or whether it's biased propaganda. And finally, let me know in the comments how you think the gun smugglers compare to the military-industrial complex. I appreciate you guys, thank you for watching, and see you next week.
W video, Tommy G. That was pretty nice. Hold on, y'all. Let me. Cold as hell. Fuck it. We finna get into Patrick CC. Hold on, actually, I don't even need to go over there. This video titled The Dark Side of 15 Minutes of Fame.
Some things shouldn't be watered down. Like a bold story. Or a great bourbon. Wild Turkey. Trust your spirit.
Whether they wanted to be famous or it happened by accident, these viral stars went from regular people to having millions of followers overnight. However, the quicker the rise, the sharper the fall. And today we are going to discuss how these people used their 15 minutes of fame and how nearly all of them ended in disaster, starting with the Backpack Kid, who is a perfect example of making all of the wrong decisions during a brief stint.
I remember this guy, bro. What is he doing right now? His dance was in like Fortnite and all that, wasn't it? At least I think it was. I remember seeing like clips. You in the chat, let me know if you remember the Backpack Kid. Nobody even know his real name. They just call him the Backpack Kid.
In popularity. Before TikTok became the go-to app to share mediocre dance moves to a global audience, 16-year-old Russell Horning was bored, uploading dance videos to Instagram with zero expectations. Initially, his signature dance style was funny. His core was stiff, his lanky arms just kind of flailed around while he stared emotionless into the camera. Additionally, he often wore goofy outfits and chose to dance to silly songs.
His pants big as hell, shirt big, haircut fucked up, shoes dicked. Jesus. He all fucked up.
Russell was extremely recognizable after watching just one video, which led to him gaining a small following on IG, but his entire life changed when Rihanna posted one of his videos to her 54 million followers.
When I found out about my 8 nods. Shout out to the hashtag Grammy 2017. So it's Rihanna's fault that he blew up. And Rihanna posts me. Damn, me blow up.
She tagged Russell in a post celebrating her Grammy nominations, and he gained over 40,000 followers in one day. To capitalize on the momentum, Russell pumped out as many dance videos as he could, skyrocketing him up to over 500,000 followers. There was one particular dance, called the Floss, that seemed to get him the most views, with many people falsely crediting him as the inventor of the move. However, his videos were not getting shared because he was an excellent dancer, but rather because he was a meme. Whenever he did collaborate with other dancers, he was often seen as the weakest one. Despite this, opportunities were being thrown his way because of his follower count, like when Katy Perry personally requested that he dance for her Saturday Night Live performance in May of 2017. Russell absolutely stole the show, flossing aggressively while staring deadpan into the souls of millions of live viewers. He also strategically chose to wear a backpack, rebranding himself as the Backpack Kid. The SNL appearance gained him millions of followers, and the floss became a global dance craze. The Backpack Kid was an internet sensation, but he made a few key mistakes that ultimately led to his downfall. Firstly, Russell took every interview and press opportunity he could get. Viral stars will get thousands of dollars thrown at them just to do collaborations with media outlets, podcasters, or live entertainment companies.
So what, you were just getting paid to go show up at parties and shit like that?
Yeah, clubs and parties and festivals and performances and stuff.
So you just pop out on stage, you do the dance, everybody goes...
This is how he talk? I've never heard this nigga talk. What? No, this is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it goes?
Yeah.
That's tight. How much can you get to go to a club, if you don't mind letting us know? Manager shakes his head no.
Manager shakes his head no.
Is it an amount that you're pretty impressed by? Like, are you surprised that you're able to get that much money just to go somewhere?
Compared to most 17-year-olds, the money that I make from just one appearance, it could take a 17-year-old forever to make that much money.
It's hard to blame someone for making easy money. Then again, the overexposure bothers people.
Damn, who did? The fumble? She looked good.
Because they perceive Russell as a one-trick pony who doesn't deserve thousands of dollars or recognition.
What the fuck? This nigga haircut dipped.
From these big platforms. Remember before the internet when you actually had to do something to get famous? But then reasonable criticism turned into straight up hatred. He looks like one of those inflatable aliens you win at an amusement park. This kid man-child thing scares me. Since he became famous for literally one thing, he had to branch out and try to find other ways to entertain his audience. So he decided to pursue music, releasing one of the worst songs of all time, Flossin'. Although Russell claimed that he was passionate about music, his songs felt like someone who was barely trying or maybe even just joking, rather than a serious artistic endeavor. Virality made Russell feel pressured to just keep doing what is paying the bills, so he resorted back to his one dance move, which ultimately led to a situation where he tried to perform on a stage that he was not wanted on. Whether it be main character syndrome or just a simple misunderstanding, his dance move lost all of its appeal, and doing it made him seem like he was desperately hanging on to his viral moment, which was made 10 times worse when he filed a lawsuit against Fortnite for putting the dance in their game.
It was really my mom and my management that did the lawsuit. I'm kind of just a kid having fun in life. I'm just letting the adults do all the busy work. I don't really know the law like that, so I can't really say if they're, like, taking advantage of me or anything like that. But, like, from a mom standpoint, like a manager standpoint, they think that they're taking advantage of me.
A couple days after the lawsuit was filed, videos dating as far back as 2011 were resurfaced showing people who were doing the dance long before the Backpack Kid. Simply put, he did not own the dance, and many viewed it as one final attempt to cash in on his fading relevance. Unsurprisingly, Russell and his team voluntarily dismissed their lawsuit shortly after. The Backpack Kid's 15 minutes of fame were officially over, and despite being hated by the masses and falling off to the point where he receives less than 1,000 views per video, these days, Russell actually seems happier than when he was at his peak. He is pursuing music more seriously and remains dedicated to pushing out a positive message to the world.
But as I got older, I started having a more mature mindset on money. I realized that it's important to choose good decisions on how to spend your money.
still got the same dick tech cut.
I was just invited to do an anti-vaping commercial for the American Lung Association. And of course my first thoughts were, oh yeah, cause I don't vape, I don't smoke, I definitely don't encourage it.
Then again, he openly accepted the opportunity to be on Kai Cenat's stream where he was absolutely embarrassed by Drewski. Sure, this was just a skit, but Russell was the butt of the joke once again. Becoming a viral star at age 16 is definitely difficult to manage. Maybe he was just young and misguided. However, the same justification cannot be made for Salt Bae, who is a grown man that should have known better than to be acting like a fool. In 2017, a video of Turkish chef Nusret Göçe went viral of him dramatically slicing steak, then sprinkling salt from his fingertips down his forearm and onto the meat. What made this so ridiculous was his dedication to making salt sprinkling look like some sort of fancy artistic technique. Combine that with his handsome Johnny Depp resemblance, and the internet gave him the nickname Salt Bae. Salt Bae didn't just embrace the meme, he became it. He continued posting obnoxious videos of him caressing raw meat, dancing with raw meat, and of course his signature salting. He was shouted out by celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Drake, and even cooked for the King of Jordan. The internet fame didn't just gain him followers, it launched his career as a global restaurant owner. He launched and expanded his Nusret Steakhouse empire to over 20 locations worldwide, racking up tens of millions of dollars in revenue. However, with more exposure comes more criticism. Many began to wonder if he was actually this mystical, passionate culinary artist, or just another guy trying to cash in on some fame. One major critique was the outrageous prices at his restaurants that had patrons feeling more scammed than served. Take the Salt Bae Golden Experience, for example, where Salt Bae will personally serve you your food with a show. A single tomahawk steak costs nearly $1,000, and a burger will set you back almost $200. Now, the prices are so high because the food is covered in edible gold, which sounds fancy until you find out that the gold is worth a measly $10. Then again, rich people blowing insane amounts of money on dumb things isn't exactly shocking. If anything, it fits his brand perfectly. This is the guy who made something as simple as sprinkling salt look like Michelangelo chiseling the final details onto David. However, the real reason people turned on Salt Bae was much more embarrassing than a $200 burger. At the 2022 World Cup, after Argentina defeated France, Salt Bae somehow ended up on the pitch celebrating the victory with the team. How did he even get there? Cameras caught him pulling on Messi's arm, practically forcing him into a handshake. Messi, the greatest football player of all time, clearly was just wanting to move forward, but Salt Bae would not let go. Messi finally gave in and shook his hand just to get it over with, but Salt Bae held on tight and pulled him into a photo. You can see it all over Messi's face that he had no idea who this guy was or why he was even there. It was clear Salt Bae was trying to steal this big moment for himself. But it gets worse. He grabbed the World Cup trophy like he won the damn thing and even did his signature salt sprinkling move over it. As if that wasn't cringy enough, he was posing for pictures with players with their medal in his mouth. These players dreamed and worked their whole lives for this once-in-a-lifetime moment, only for some clout chaser to steal some publicity to promote his
He looked like a fucking lame. Tight ass suit on.
overpriced steaks. He responded to the backlash with an apology, claiming he didn't step on the pitch for advertising reasons, but the damage was already done, and Salt Bae's 15 minutes of fame were over. Salt Bae has shut down multiple restaurants after the hype has died down. Many of his remaining locations are drowning in poor reviews, and his London restaurant is down 4.3 million euros as customers have realized his food is way overpriced. Salt Bae has resorted to selling his high-end food online now. In May of last year, people started to notice that his steakhouse was listed on Deliveroo and Uber Eats, selling his Salt Bae tomahawk for $500 and a strip loin for almost $900, proving he really hasn't learned from his critics. Then again, there are plenty of rich people out there willing to waste money on overpriced food, just because they can, and his virality and social media following alone will easily keep him in business for the rest of his life. But if you think Salt Bae was making a fool of himself, it doesn't even remotely compare to the Island Boys, whose fall off is much more disgusting than you could ever imagine. The Island Boys are a duo made up of twin brothers Alex Fly Soldier and Frankie Kodiak Red, two aspiring Florida men covered in face tattoos who blew up overnight in 2021 after they posted a TikTok video of them freestyling in a hot tub.
Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a get Kiwi guy.
People couldn't decide if the tune was the worst thing they'd ever heard or low-key kind of a banger.
I'm an island boy.
What is happening? I don't know and ain't trying to understand it.
Plus, hip-hop has a history for blowing up artists who ride the paper-thin line between trash and fire. Rapper Kodak Black even offered them a record deal after their viral video, which is insane because this wasn't even a real song yet, just two goofballs mumbling in a hot tub. They turned down the deal, claiming that they wanted to stay independent, but this was a huge mistake. They believed they could make it on their own talent, but if we're being honest, most of their fame came from people clowning them. I played this song at my sister's funeral. She got out of the casket to shut it off. Thank you, Island Boys. This is the 0.01% of germs that bleach can't kill. When they decided to finally cut the record over a beat and released it with a music video, it was somehow worse. This the type of hidden talent that should absolutely remain hidden. Like many other viral stars, they were paid to do appearances at clubs, which became a prime example of when social media meets reality. At Miami's Club Live, the audience began booing the Island Boys on stage. Once music fans realized the Island Boys had no capability of making a somewhat decent song, there was really no reason to pay attention to them, and their 15 minutes of fame was about to be up. The boys needed a new way to profit from their fame, so they began selling personalized videos to fans on Cameo, which apparently was very lucrative according to their previous manager.
They owe me about like $150,000.
From what? Your percentage of the Cameo money?
Yeah.
Is that the only money they're bringing in?
Mostly, maybe a little bit on TikTok, but I mean, it's pretty much run dry at this point.
Right. How many cameos are they doing?
When I was with them, they was coming in hot.
They were viral.
Like it was going like 2-3 hours a night straight cameos.
But with them spending all of their money on designer clothes, jewelry, cars, and mansions, they needed to keep going viral to maintain this lifestyle, which almost always resulted in them making absolute fools of themselves on the internet.
Yeah, she likes the way you look. She thinks you looks good.
They also might have needed some money to hire security because the
That just disgusted me. Jesus Christ.
gangster persona was not convincing enough. In what could only be called an unhinged move, and in hindsight, the final nail in their career's coffin, the Island Boys launched a Fansly, which is basically just an OF. And it wasn't just embarrassing, it was downright sickening. In 2023, the Island Boys posted a video of them kissing
Oh fuck, why did I pause on this?
each other in a publicity stunt to market their NSFW content. Instantly going viral for the second time, the video got them a
So you go to a website, Stream Elements, to put chatbot overlay so you can read chat. Yeah, I think that's how I do it. Even then, I still low key I still need to find out how to like put it on my screen, Murph. What's up, Stompers Gaming? But yeah, I end up making I think a Stream Elements account. And that was the one that told me I could do it.
a huge amount of backlash, with many calling it outright incest, which it is. The twins insisted it wasn't sexual and was only meant to get a reaction, claiming that they just wanted to see how effed up this world is. And it turns out they were right about that.
That's how you put your stream. That's how you put it on your stream. I was on it and it worked for me. Hey Merc, if you can, bro, if you can, try to see if you can record yourself doing it and post it on your channel so I can see how to do it. If you can, like stream yourself doing it and then post that shit, bro, so I can go look at it. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to do it, but I don't know how to do that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yo, if you in the stream, like the stream, man. What's up, GGFG? Stompers, nigga, stop asking me to say your fucking name again. I already said it, bro. What's up, M? So I can give you the video that helped me. Yeah, give me the video. Yeah, give me the video that helped you. That'd be even better. Like, what's the name of the channel? Yo, if you in the stream, like the stream, man, and subscribe. Like the stream and subscribe. And if you went here, click on my page, man, and go to my desktop stream. So right now we doing reactions. That way I'll be able to, you know what I'm saying, see y'all and shit.
This world, because after their kissing stunt, it was reported that the Island Boys made almost $400,000 in 3 months just on their NSFW content, temporarily funding their lavish lifestyle. But of course, this resulted in more public humiliation.
What's going on with the shit that's with you two kissing each other and shit? Bro, shut your ass up before I break this dude. Hey.
He mad as hell. Let's get it poppin', man. Help your boy out. What you mean, help your boy out, Vincent? Their channel name is Your Six Studios. And you was able to get it on your screen, right?
Yo, that ass, I would love to see you try that shit. Bro, what are you talking about? I would love to see you try that shit. Who the f*** are you standing up in front of the Bro, what? Oh my God!
The desperate attempts to remain in the spotlight, combined with a severe lack of talent and expensive lifestyle, has led to incredibly lows for the Island Boys. Kodiak Red was arrested for drug possession and an illegal firearm during a traffic stop. During the stop, a plastic bag containing white pills was found on the passenger side floorboard in plain view. The pills were identified as oxycodone. A further search of the vehicle uncovered a brown handbag containing a handgun with its serial numbers removed, along with a cut straw with a white powdery substance. These days, they pretty much spend all of their time promoting their NSFW content, and trust me when I say they went much further than just kissing each other. And if we're being honest, this will likely remain a consistent income stream for them, as there are definitely still a ton of people out there that are willing to pay to see this type of degeneracy. But unlike the Island Boys, sometimes we actually find ourselves rooting for a viral star. We hope that they become successful after their 15 minutes are up, like the case of Mason Ramsey, who became a breakout star when a video went viral of him yodeling in the middle of Walmart in Harrisburg, Illinois. The clip racked up tens of millions of views in just a few days, turning the 11-year-old Mason into a worldwide meme. Not only is yodeling kind of objectively hilarious, but a child singing a song that was 70 years old was oddly charming. Because of his viral performance, the original song, Hank Williams' Lovesick Blues, skyrocketed all the way to the 3rd spot on Spotify's Viral 50 chart. Within weeks, Ramsey was sitting across from Ellen DeGeneres, who got him invited to perform at the legendary Grand Ole Opry. From there, he was embraced by thousands of fans while performing at Coachella. Major record labels noticed his potential, and eventually Mason would secure a deal with Atlantic Records and Big Loud. The minute Mason and his family walked into Big Loud, I knew we had to work with him. He is a star, but most importantly, he is a down-to-earth kid who loves country music. The Ramseys are an amazing family from a small southern Illinois town just like me. We understood them and their goals, and simply fell in love with their story.
Hey, before you go, Merc, are you able to drag the chat to like multiple tabs, or you can only keep it on one tab? That's low-key my question too. I ain't gonna lie. If you still in here. I don't know about that. I bet I'll figure it out.
And vision, proving that he wasn't just a meme. His debut single, Famous, secured the number 4 spot on the Billboard Hot Country Songs and peaked at number 62 on the Hot 100. But viral memes naturally have an expiration date, and soon Mason Ramsey's 15 minutes of fame were over. When the pandemic hit, it forced Mason to take a step back. However, he used his time away from the spotlight as best as someone could in his position. While his voice was maturing, he focused on refining his talent, writing music, and finding his own sound beyond the yodeling kid in Walmart that made him famous. Mason released 3 EPs that gained over 500 million streams combined and secured hundreds of millions of views on his music videos. By 2024, at 17 years old, he decided it was time to take the next step in his career and release a full-length album titled I'll See You in My Dreams. A song featured on the project called Blue All Over caught a lot of attention through TikTok for its classic old country appeal, and I can confirm it is a beautiful song. Now in 2025, Mason Ramsey recently announced his first major headlining tour that has 15 stops. Mason's rise to fame started almost exactly the same as everyone else in this video, but instead of trying to chase more fleeting viral moments or make some quick cash, he honed in on his craft, worked hard, and simply gave the people exactly what they wanted: genuine talent and entertainment. This was one of the few times social media made the right person famous, the only viral kid that didn't switch up after the fame. So while Mason worked hard and focused on genuine entertainment, Bobby Althoff seems to ignore both of those things, as many people are genuinely confused how someone who has done so little has achieved so much success. Bobby Althoff started as a mommy TikToker after the pandemic, posting about her pregnancy, marriage, and family dynamics. After posting thousands of videos over a couple of years, she had built up a respectable 3 million followers. However, TikTok wasn't paying the bills, and her marriage wasn't doing too well. So the wholesome family content was about to come to a screeching halt. She said, "I saw this video of a girl talking about how much she made from her podcast, and I think I mentally decided that she made at least $300,000 a year on her podcast alone. And I was like, that's what I need to do next. I need a podcast." Her large following helped her land her first celebrity guest, Rick Glassman, who is a comedian and actor. And in the first podcast, fans got to see Bobby in a totally new light. She was seemingly a socially awkward valley girl, giving off the vibe that she didn't even want to host her own podcast.
The way your eyes are looking, it seems like you're not listening.
I'm listening.
Do you care?
No, I do care. It's just really bad when you sing.
I'm not a singer. I'm just trying to get the story across to you.
Thank you. I hear it. I got it.
In her second podcast, she hosted comedian Funny Marco, who had great comedic chemistry with Bobby. Funny Marco's comedy style often makes others feel uncomfortable and awkward, so the two were essentially battling it out in an interesting back and forth.
So, like, who are you? Like, where'd you...
Who am I?
Yeah.
Is that a serious question? I have more followers than you on TikTok.
Marco's humor combined with Bobby's dryness and innocent personality makes this so hilarious. Highly entertaining. The episode quickly earned nearly 1 million views, and clips of it made the rounds on social media. The mini virality caught the attention of Drake, who followed Bobby on Instagram. I DM'd Drake and asked if he wanted to be on my podcast, and he said yes. He sent me his touring schedule, and I knew that I needed to make it happen fast. So my friend and I flew to Memphis 2 days after the original DM was sent to record the episode. Her podcast with Drake earned 1 million views in the first 24 hours and introduced her to a massive mainstream audience. Drake rarely does interviews, so this one, alongside some random girl while laying in his bed, made people extremely curious.
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, like,
I flew all the way here
you did. I really do appreciate
on my
that.
daughter's first birthday.
I wasn't gonna bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
You missed your daughter's first birthday for
To
this.
be here.
Dark. Regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
Where's your son?
Somewhere safe, and it's not his birthday.
When's his birthday?
What does it matter? It ain't today, honey.
Don't call me honey.
Clips of their awkward interactions flooded TikTok, and overnight, Bobby Althoff became a household name on social media. After the Drake episode, securing high-profile guests became easy. She had on Lil Yachty, Tyga, and even Mark Cuban. Her style of bored, sarcastic humor became her signature, and people seemed to love it. But just 3 weeks after the Drake interview was posted, which now had over 10 million views, it was mysteriously deleted from her page, and he unfollowed her on Instagram, sparking a ton of speculation. While fans were trying to figure out what happened, people were reminded that Bobby skipped her daughter's first birthday to interview Drake, which didn't seem to sit right with people, especially because Bobby used to be a mom-focused TikToker. When Drake calls you a horrible parent, you know you effed up. Rumors also spread that Bobby slept with Drake and divorced her husband just to do the interview.
Dave Portnoy. My girlfriend said you hooked up with Drake and got divorced. Am I saying that I'm saying that's not true? I'm not commenting about it, but off the record, you're right, that is not true. I know I was right.
Interview, which she vehemently denied. But it is true that she divorced her husband, but the reason her and Drake's relationship soured was never revealed. So many people came to the conclusion that she was nothing more than an industry plant, basically meaning that she didn't organically earn her virality, but rather she was handpicked by people behind the scenes and artificially pushed into the spotlight, using Drake's fame as the catalyst. The main piece of evidence for this theory was that she signed to the WME Talent Agency, one of the biggest talent agencies in the United States, representing a ton of Hollywood figures, including Drake.
Well, you got a great agent, and you got a great agency, and you got great guests.
Regardless if the rumors were true or not, it gave even more of a reason to dislike Bobby, and her comedic style got old very quickly. Listening to her uninterested voice is like nails on a chalkboard, and while most of her interviews she is the one driving the conversation, there were frequent moments where celebrities got tired of her shtick mid-conversation and turned the tables on her.
Damn, I'm trying to get you to play. You lost in the sauce. You ain't shaking my hand. We finna get you to 25 million. You know what I'm saying?
What the hell happened?
Come on, man. Get out of here.
Just a little
Have a
sprinkle
great
of
day,
seasoning.
Offset.
Just a little seasoning.
All right, you can leave now.
This is my hotel. I paid for this motherfucker. You can leave now.
All of her podcasts feel like small talk while waiting for something to actually happen. It's just simply boring. Ironically, her revealing that she was just playing a character actually became worse for her, because the little mystique she did have was now completely gone. In an interview on the Women on Top podcast, she explained why she embodies a satirical alter ego on social media, saying, "Being myself doesn't get views. I had to go where the money was." And her playing the character of someone who is bored and uninterested is just just not a sustainable style for long-term success. Awkward and cringe humor can work, but in short clips, not hour-long podcasts. In response to the backlash, she tried to just be more herself, not trying to be so awkward and even remove the dead air moments from the pod. But all that did was reveal that she is just a subpar podcast host who is only doing it for the money. Although her 15 minutes of fame are over, she will likely remain a lingering socialite as long as she is signed to a talent agency that can get her celebrity guests. And on TikTok is where you will still see her fan base praise her for putting in the least amount of effort possible. This story feels all too similar to the Hawk Tuah girl, with the main difference being that Bobby didn't outright scam the few people that actually supported her. Walking around drunk in Nashville at 2 a.m., Haley Welsh and her friend Chelsea approached a couple of guys and asked them what they were filming. YouTubers Tim and Dee told them that they do on-the-street interviews where they typically ask about relationships, male and female gender roles, as well as provocative and sometimes raunchy topics. Chelsea asked Dee to make it a spicy one, implying that he should ask a question that might be a little edgy.
Come on, you gotta get a spicy one.
You want a spicy one?
Yeah.
So he did just that, only Megan's friend Haley would jump in and give an answer that would drastically change her life.
You gotta answer this, you got it.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing, you get me?
After having a silly interview, Chelsea and Haley confirmed that they wanted their video to be posted to social media.
Tim and D what? Like I was earlier.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim and D TV.
Alright.
You said we better post that?
Yes.
Okay.
Post it through.
Alright. She said we better post it. So don't come back trying to tell me, hey, take it down, I'm gonna sue you, this, that, the third.
Tim and Dee posted the video to their Instagram account, which had tens of thousands of followers, and the clip immediately went viral, securing 1 million views on the first day and over 5 million views on the second day. The post spread like wildfire, being shared across countless meme pages and pop culture news reporters. The comments read, "She's a national treasure. Keep this woman safe. I'm moving down south. I'm tired of these Northeast women. If she don't Hawk Tuah, I don't want to talk to her." On the surface, Haley appeared to be the stereotypical Southern belle, sweet and charming complemented by a thick accent. So her describing her raunchy bedroom tactics was a stark contrast. Within days, merch was being sold to capitalize on the viral traffic, but it wasn't until her first interview that we would find out more about the girl behind Hawk Tuah.
What do you do now? Because now you have management, now you have a team. What are your plans moving forward? Like, do you want to still be the Hawk Tuah girl, or do you want to, like...
I don't really want that to be, like, my image.
Yeah.
Like, Hawk Tuah girl.
Well, I mean, it's kind of too late for that. That was your biggest moment, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? Unless you can come from up under that.
I don't see that being, like,
a
my
forever
thing. You know?
thing?
Yeah, I don't want to be known as that.
You made a drunk joke, and the next day you have whole management behind you. This world is crazy. Haley took the typical path of a viral star. She hired management, and they immediately got her as much press as possible, jumping on various podcasts to talk about her rise to fame. She got paid to show up at events and hung out backstage with celebrities. She was being amplified to unimaginable levels, with Rolling Stone calling her a charming Gen Z Dolly Parton who's rightfully becoming America's sweetheart. Keep in mind that Dolly Parton is a generational talent who sold 100 million records in her career. Rolling Stone, of all publications, making that comparison just shows how they will say anything for clicks. And while many people thought that Haley would start an OF to cash in, she decided she wanted to use her fame for good.
Everybody in the comments is saying how I have 15 minutes of fame, and if that's the case, then I'm going to spend it doing something good. Today, we're taking all of this down to the local animal shelter and donate.
People were convinced they made the right person famous, but most viral stars struggle to earn a consistent income from their newfound fame. So in order to secure a sustainable revenue source, she launched the Talk Tuah podcast, and immediately the jokes came flooding in.
Hawk Tuah. Like an emphasis on like Tuah.
Once the whole "I'm just a normal girl whose life changed overnight" story ran its course, she tried to keep viewers engaged by dropping hints that she had a secret lover that she called Pookie, but it just wasn't interesting enough to get people to watch.
Can we go back to what you said? You're dating somebody? Do people know this?
Well, I would
to say dating just yet.
Is this Pookie?
It's Pookie.
Shut the heck up.
That's my man.
No, it is.
That is my man.
Officially. What
I
if
mean-
Matt Rife came in and asked you to date him? Would he be your ex-man?
Oh, shit. You're putting me on the spot here.
I'm sorry.
I love you, Matt, but I'm going to have to kick your ass to the curb.
Her comment section was flooded with people sarcastically saying that the podcast was groundbreaking and changed their life. I'm convinced that the only reason why this podcast had decent viewership is because of the massive amount of jokes dedicated to making fun of watching the Talk to a podcast. But perhaps people were being a bit harsh on Haley. Sure, she may have been milking her 15 minutes of fame, but can you blame her? If people wanted to watch hours of her podcast and get to know her, then so be it. It's not like she was harming anyone, right? Wrong, because Haley would make a decision that would officially destroy her career. On December 4th, 2024, in collaboration with the Web3 platform Over Here Limited, Haley launched her own meme coin called Hawk. The coin was marketed as a revolutionary cryptocurrency project. Within 15 minutes of its launch, it hit a $490 million market cap, but then it crashed. It was revealed that 97% of the total supply was initially controlled by just 10 people, leaving only 3% for public buyers. A total of 285 investors took part in the pre-sale, but once trading opened, 30% of them immediately dumped their entire holdings, while another 23% offloaded a portion. This sell-off tanked the token's value by over 90%, an estimated $3 million. After this, Haley posted a statement on Twitter insisting that the team never sold the tokens. Many accused her of rug pulling, which is basically a coordinated sell-off from a small group of investors to make profits while the public loses their entire investment. In short, this was not a revolutionary cryptocurrency project. This was a way to make a quick buck off of her uneducated fans. YouTuber CoffeeZilla investigated and exposed the coin as a scam.
Who makes the money on the fees? Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
First of all, the fees were there with Meteora Pools, and that goes to, yes, the creator, right?
Which is who? Who is the project?
Well, the project is over here, Haley Welch, right? And
how much does Haley Welch own?
This is Haley Welch's project.
So she owns all of it.
CoffeeZilla.
Did she just make $1 million on fees on a rug? Who made the money? How much did Haley Welch make of that million? 1.8 million?
It's a foundation.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt you, Nick, but hello there.
What's up,
But
Quay?
anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Multiple lawsuits were filed against the entities behind Hawk, including Over Here Limited and the To the Moon Foundation. These lawsuits alleged unlawful promotion and sale of unregistered securities. Welch received an upfront payment of $125,000 to promote the coin to her community, along with 50% of the net trading proceeds after the operating costs paid to the third parties. And she owned 10% of the entire Hawk supply, although she could not sell them for a year. Now, it is possible that Haley did not know what she was getting into, but ignorance is no excuse for breaking the law. Her 15 minutes of fame are most definitely over, but since her meme coin, she has disappeared from social media, so we'll have to see what she does next. In a world filled with amazing talent, interesting and intelligent people who work hard for the attention of those that can make their dreams a reality, it seems like the wrong people are constantly achieving overnight success, and that's never going to change. So eventually, there will be a part 2 of this video.
Make your browser fast.
Damn.
Make your browser safe. Make your browser Chrome. Choose Google Chrome for your
Domination to dementia. Let me see, what the hell should I do next? Fuck it, we gonna watch this Wendy Williams video. Like her eyes gonna pop out her skull. Let's check out Wendy Williams.
Celebrity gossip has been an American staple since the birth of Hollywood, but in the 90s and 2000s, exposing celebrities or revealing their darkest secrets to millions of people became a billion-dollar business of its own. Wendy Williams always dreamed of being a cog in the wheel of the Hollywood media machine, and she carefully crafted a formula to build an empire of her own. Wendy understood the public's insatiable curiosity to dive into the personal struggles and scandals of celebrities,
Actually had meat on her bones in this picture. That's crazy.
realizing that gossip not only humanized stars, but also fueled their cultural relevance. But walking the fine line between entertainment and exploitation came with its own...
Damn, why the fuck is her cheekbones and facial structure so strong? She looked like a goddamn wax figure. Ew.
set of risks, which she had to face when confronting Tupac Shakur and the all-powerful Sean Diddy Combs. And after nearly 30 years of dominance, the tables turned, and Wendy herself became the subject of relentless scrutiny with her personal struggles splashed across headlines. She could not adapt to modern times, her show was cancelled, and she disappeared from her glamorous gossip empire. However, we would sadly find out that she wasn't necessarily cancelled because her fans got tired of her, but rather because she is facing some serious health problems that she may never recover from. To compound these issues, it could all just be a setup by some shady people surrounded by Wendy. They may be over-exaggerating or straight up lying about her alleged dementia to trap...
She's like a fucking ghost. Oh man, I don't mean to laugh at this motherfucker, but Jesus Christ. Have y'all seen this picture of Wendy Williams? Hold on, let me show y'all this shit. There's no way Wendy Williams looked like this. Look at this shit. She looked like a fucking ghost. This is disgusting. If everybody that's in here, man, come tune into my motherfucking stream, man. We doing desktop fucking reactions, nigga. Reactions, come join my motherfucking chat. Ain't nobody over here. Fuck is y'all talking about? Jesus Christ. Wendy Williams is disgusting looking. Shout out to her though, man. Damn, holy epileptic. Hold on, y'all. Resume stream. What's the word? Bundu. Bundu Tharic Thakar. What up, nigga? What up, BT?
Trap her in a conservatorship and steal her multi-million-dollar fortune. This is the wild world of Wendy Williams. Wendy always considered herself the black sheep of her family. Wendy grew up in the late 60s and early 70s as the middle child of a middle-class family in suburban New Jersey. During the heat of the civil rights movement, with cultural tensions at an all-time high, her parents, Shirley and Thomas, obtained a high level of education, sharing a total of 3 master's degrees. My father has always always quoting Shakespeare, says Wendy. I call it crazy, but in actuality, it's intellectually just over my head. Wendy felt like she was living in the shadow of her older sister Wanda's flawless academic performance. Wanda was a straight-A law school graduate, and Wendy graduated high school ranking 360th in a class of 363. There were 3 people academically
Damn, she dumb as hell.
Stupider than me. In addition to Wendy being intellectually inferior to her family and friends, she was often bullied for her dark skin and weight.
I learned to have my own inner strength. I had to fake confidence until I actually believed it. And unfortunately, that meant being very introspective and missing out on a lot of the things that kids participated in. Like, I've never been to a prom. I don't know what that's like. I was tall and I was overweight, and I was reminded of that by my siblings and my parents every single day. My father, the first man who loves you, the first message about my weight is, Wendy, you have such a pretty face if you just lose some weight. I would get weighed constantly by my mother and father.
One of Wendy's tricks, step on the scale, and then she would lean to one side so that the needle would move downward instead of upward.
It might have been maybe too many mashed potatoes.
However, her parents say that her childhood was totally fine and normal because she never spoke up about her feelings.
Wendy never came home teary. She never came home angry in terms of what's considered and what that's considered. No. And for some reason, I guess Wendy just internalizes things. You know.
But nor did she fight.
No.
Nor did she fight.
No.
Did she fight back?
No.
And stand up for herself, or say, you know.
What the fuck do that mean? Because she didn't fight back or she didn't stand up for her motherfucking self. That don't mean shit, man. That don't mean that y'all wasn't bullying her, bro. What the fuck? Y'all her motherfucking parents. Y'all should understand that. Old fucks.
I'm not fat, or I'm not tall, or get out of here, leave me alone.
Yes.
She didn't do that.
To escape the harsh realities of not being accepted by her family and peers, Wendy would lock herself in her room, studying the National Enquirer, catching up on celebrity gossip and the latest trends. When she wasn't reading magazines, she'd be playing with transistor radios, dreaming of one day being able to broadcast her voice.
Radio and cassette recorder. I used to play the roving reporter, and I would interview my little brother, Tommy. He's 3 years younger than me, about anything. So, what'd you have for dinner? Did you like it? What did you do? And then I would play back and listen to myself. I just loved radio. The people who did it, they all sounded like they had such cool, fabulous lives. They talk about the parties they were going to, and Donna Summers is coming to town, and they'd be at this restaurant and that restaurant. I said, I want to be cool too. So I knew that when I grew up, I wanted to be either a newscaster or I wanted to be a radio broadcaster.
After high school, Williams attended Northeastern University in hopes of becoming a television anchor. She ended up switching from television communications to radio to advance her career faster. Wendy was young, full of ambition and energy. She would take the train from Boston to Grand Central in New York just to listen to her favorite DJ's broadcasts. In Boston, she secured an internship at KISS 108. However, she was not content just being behind the scenes. In a desperate attempt to secure airtime, she entered the building in rhinestones from head to toe, before storming into the studio while they were in the middle of recording. Wendy wanted to be on air, Maddie Siegel told The New Yorker. I look at interns as people who are going to bring me my coffee, but she, from day one, went, okay, which microphone do I use? Wendy explains, virtually everything in life I have plotted on to get. Nothing has happened by fluke. After graduating college, she moved around frequently in an attempt to find a...
That's Wendy Williams? Nah, that can't be Wendy Williams. His bell pepper nose having ass.
Radio station that felt like home and best fit her skill set. Wendy was a hustler, sacrificing time with family and friends to achieve a dream that they didn't really understand.
And I got a weekend gig in New York. So I would do weekdays at WOL in Washington and drive up on Fridays after my shift, which would end at 7 o'clock. And I'd be on all weekend long over in Queens. And then I would drive back to D.C. And I would never even stop at my parents' house, never had time for friends because everybody was kind of not understanding my dream and kind of laughing at me or something, or trying to, you know, my friends were like real immature and stupid and wanting to party and hang out, and I'm on a path, and my parents were very, you know, oh.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first, let's talk about the things they
Please shut up.
Do you want something to eat? What is this crazy thing you're doing called radio? I would sleep in my Subaru. They gave me a Subaru for college graduation. I would sleep in my car at every rest stop between New York and Washington, D.C. to block out the noise of people
Telling you can't do it.
Right. I would literally I'd have a blanket, an alarm clock, and a quilt. And I would take a bird bath in the bathroom. I'd be woken up by the man sweeping next to my Subaru looking at me because I'm like the crazy, you know, girl and I had a baby shade without a baby. Pull the baby shade down.
Unfortunately, this lifestyle was eating away at her. To cope with the pressure of working in media and entertainment, Wendy developed a serious cocaine addiction. She was constantly in a haze, which may have initially fueled her animated persona. Her addiction got out of control, sometimes snorting 2 grams of coke a day, 4 days a week. During her shift, Wendy would play an extended track of Noel Pagan's Silent Morning, which gave her just enough time to sneak into the bathroom and get high. One night, Wendy took a hit so hard that it knocked her unconscious. When she regained consciousness, the air had been dead for over 3 minutes. Fortunately, her bosses weren't paying attention, but it wasn't long before they caught on to what she was doing, and ultimately, she was fired. For the first time in her professional life, Wendy hit an all-time low.
So Wendy Williams was a coke sniffing motherfucker. It's that coke, man. That'll do it to you.
She went from sleeping in her car to finally achieving a small slice of fame like she had always wanted, and now it felt like her dream was slipping away. But Wendy wasn't gonna go down easy. Williams spent her time sending out audition tapes throughout New York City. She briefly worked overnight shifts at WPLJ before finding a permanent position at 98.7 KISS FM. There, she began gossiping about rappers and celebrities during a segment called Dish the Dirt, where Wendy, for better or for worse, started to deeply understand the Hollywood gossip engine. And there, she developed a genius formula that would begin her takeover of New York radio. At the start, she would interview low-profile celebrities, creating a symbiotic relationship where she would help the artist reach a mainstream audience in exchange for something scandalous about their personal lives. But it wasn't long before she caught the attention of some heavy hitters in the industry, because without a doubt, Wendy was the show.
I just want to thank everybody for listening, because although you might think I sit up here and diss and everything like that, I'm just a positive person trying to do a positive thing, trying to have a little bit of fun and make my mark in the world. Thank you very much for listening to KISS. Really.
Wendy, why do you diss people?
Oh, Ralph, let me tell you something. I heard something about you. If you turn off the camera, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Her off-and-on drug use combined with her outspoken personality made her extremely unpredictable. It was the kind of thing that captivated listeners. Nobody knew what she was going to say next. According to Vinnie Brown, he dealt with record executives who called up and said, "Hey, your girl is talking about my artist." I can't tell you the amount of times people like Bill Cosby, Puffy, Russell Simmons called me directly, and I just had to let them go off about something that Wendy said, and I'd be smiling without them knowing. And while this may have been good for ratings, sometimes Wendy would take things too far. She seemingly did not care about the legality of her claims, nor did she ever think she would face repercussions for her actions. A recurring segment on her show was discussing what rappers in the industry are on the down low, or hiding their homosexuality from the public.
There were lots of homosexuals in hip-hop back in the 80s too. You know, that was, you know, what's worse, you know, hip-hop wearing skirts or hip-hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood that, you know, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny, which is your sexuality. We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the
Bitch, that's you. Giraffe neck ass.
stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle.
She even spread a rumor that Tupac Shakur had been R-worded in prison. Now, it's important to understand that very few topics were more taboo in the hip-hop world than homosexuality. Homophobia has always been prevalent in the hip-hop community. Hypermasculinity was a dominant theme in hip-hop culture, and any deviation from traditional notions of masculinity, including homosexuality, was often stigmatized. Suggesting a rapper was gay did more harm to their reputation than you could imagine, and Tupac perceived Wendy's comments as an act of war. Tupac denied the rumor after one of his first interviews after being released from jail.
The media, they make me act like I would act. I'm in jail, they reporting that I'm getting in jail. I'm sitting in jail, niggas is banging on my door going, "Ah! Win! Why you ain't say that? What's going on?" Talking about, I got in jail. Ain't this You did an interview with somebody yesterday today. Right? Yeah. Just about that, right? No, I didn't even talk to them. They got that from somebody else.
Tupac recorded a diss track that was released posthumously titled Why You Turn On Me. He rapped, "I put Jenny Craig on your fat ass. You fat troll. Anybody ever seen Wendy Williams' fat ass? Why you always wearing spandex, you fat bitch? I know your pussy stinks, you fat hoe. I'm putting Jenny Craig on you." Since Wendy had struggled with her body image her whole life, these comments must have stung pretty hard. Yet throughout her 25-year career, she never truly dove deep into how she felt about Tupac's song. But oddly enough, she seems to be grateful for it. In 2012, she told The Hollywood Reporter, "Without those song mentions, I might not be on TV right now. There is a large segment who may have never heard about me on the radio, but they heard Tupac tell me I needed to go to Jenny Craig, or Mariah Carey tell me that I'm all up in her business. So I love them for that." Some artists even demanded that Wendy be fired for her unapologetic gossip, but the exact opposite happened. Her success at Kiss FM made her a highly valuable asset. Her rise in popularity became so great for the station that she got her own solo shift, which only affirmed Wendy's belief that, when it comes to Hollywood, bending the rules is fair game, as long as you become a star yourself. By 1993, Williams was the highest rated host in her time slot in New York City. That same year, she received a Billboard Radio Award for R&B Major Market Radio Air Personality of the Year. Due to 98.7 Kiss FM's change in ownership, Williams was transferred back to Hot 97, which had become the #1 hip-hop station in the region. She was now an afternoon host on the most culturally relevant radio station in the biggest city in the country. Wendy had officially cracked the code. She, like many of her listeners, was curious about the lives of the rich and the famous. She noticed that the industry encouraged her behavior for the sake of mutual benefit. Gossip humanizes celebrities. It offers glimpses into their personal struggles, which can make them seem more relatable, or at least serve as a source of entertainment. Then again, many celebrities just want the conversation to be around their craft, whether it be music, movies, sports, or other areas of entertainment. What Wendy realized is that the general public doesn't want to talk about the craft, so she essentially spent the rest of her career trying to walk that perfect line of discussing and criticizing celebrities while not damaging her own reputation or putting herself in danger. But luckily, she was prepared for the danger that was coming her way. Wendy met a man named Kevin Hunter at a roller rink in New Jersey. Kevin enticed Wendy because she was looking for a thug. He was the one who protected her, recalled music director Vinnie Brown. She had threats on her life. People were sending dead fish wrapped in newspaper to the radio station. The relationship inspired her to quit cocaine, which, she says in her memoir, she swapped for the fulfillment of romance. Hunter had effectively become her husband, manager, and personal security all at once, as she had...
This nigga chopped in a bitch, ain't he? Jesus, this nigga's ugly. Shout out to this ugly ass nigga, man. Bullshit at a second stream. I watched the video zooming yesterday. Great channel, not gonna lie. Only video so far, very nothing to watch on stream now. Wait, what's it called? Zoomer Historian? You think their video is copyrighted? Is their video copyrighted, low-key? I might have to check it out. Only one video so far, but very historically accurate. The book burn, and what books did they burn? Nothing to watch on stream though. It's a YouTube channel. I bet. I'm gonna have to tune in. I'm gonna tune in and check it out. Passing out on live TV. Cody, I don't even know if she talked about that yet. Well, Patrick CC ain't talked about it yet. But I'm gonna check that channel out. Low key. So I don't know if it's copyrighted, but they speak about World War II and Nazis. I bet I'm gonna have to I'm gonna see what that channel about. No bullshit. I didn't realize how motherfucking dark I look on the screen too. So that's why it might be sus to watch on stream. Yeah, I might have to watch that off stream, low key, bro. I might have to watch that off stream. I'm gonna see about it though. Damn. All my shit jumbled up with all these fucking cords, man. Fuck it though, man. I recommend you first anyways. But the Zoma guy seems to know his history well. Alright, bet it up. Bet it up, bet it up, bet it up. I'm gonna check that out. By the way, your mic audio is a bit low. The video you watch is louder. Alright, hold on, let me turn my mic up. Yo. Is this better? Or is it too loud? I be low-key wondering if my mic loud or like loud as fuck or not. Let me know. Let me see if I can turn that shit down a little bit. Is this better? I'll let you know if I see any other good videos on him. Say yeah, it's better, not too loud. I bet. Good looking, bro. I low-key be thinking my shit loud as fuck. Like when the mic should be going up like that. But if this better, I'm gonna keep it like this. Alright, I'm gonna get back to the video. I can't see my chat, but fuck it.
Replaced one addiction with another. It was as if she was addicted to Kevin in a weird way, a former colleague of Williams told The New Yorker. She sort of dropped the drugs and picked up him, and he was just as bad for her. Wendy now had unimaginable power. She was platformed by a media powerhouse, and was being personally protected by a roughneck husband. Despite this, Wendy had finally crossed a line with a celebrity who had much more power than her. Sean Diddy Combs. Wendy knew the best way to rile people up was just make an accusation that a male celebrity was gay, and nobody was safe. She even suggested that her own co-worker, Angie Martinez's boyfriend, rapper Q-Tip, was gay. Angie said, everybody was gay to Wendy. Every rapper you could think of in that era, I had heard Wendy Williams call them gay. Not one or two, like every one of them. And when Angie went to confront Wendy, things got physical. I lost my effing mind. Before I knew it, I was swinging at her. It was a quick scuffle. It took only a few seconds for me to realize that she wasn't really hitting me back. She was just trying to get me off of her. At the time, Wendy created a website, GoWendy.com. The site featured celebrity photos, rumors, and received up to 100,000 views per day. In April of '97, Williams acquired a photo of Puff Daddy that may have convinced the public that he was gay, and she was letting her listeners know that she was planning on releasing the photo. Puffy's bodyguard, Gene Deal, remembers the photo clearly.
We were in Cancun, and we were on our way to the Island of Women. And this is all it was, bruh. For whatever reason, dude was playing with Puff. He went behind him and grabbed his trunks and pulled them down. When he grabbed his trunk to pull us down, some girls that was taking pictures. They took that picture and emailed it back to Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams said she had him in a compromising position and like it was gay, something like that. And she was going to put it out. They stopped her from putting it out.
Diddy's ex-business partner, Kirk Burroughs, also remembers doing everything they could to prevent her from putting out the photo.
Wendy Williams was announcing in her super highly rated afternoon show that she had big news coming. I said, yo, what's going on? We started calling everybody. He was calling me. He got a heads up. He started calling the bosses at Hot 97. The street team was listening. They heard. The executives heard. We instantly all left the office, 19th Street, some in cabs, some in cars, some running all the way down to Hudson Street where Hot 97 was to get down there just to handle the situation and make sure that that picture was not exposed to the masses and was not delivered through Wendy Williams.
This scandal was too large to brush under the rug. The station's hands were tied and they suspended Wendy. When she returned from her suspension on air one day, she referred to the girl group Total, who were bad boy signees, as broke hoes after their comments favoring her suspension. And after she made these comments, the members staked outside of Hot 97 to confront her.
I remember I got off the air one day and them Total were downstairs waiting and everybody upstairs at the radio.
Is this shit on her teeth? Or is that my computer screen? Nah, that's her teeth.
Stations looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down.
And since Total was signed to Diddy, it makes people think that he was the reason they tried to
Okay, they not chopped in this picture. Maybe it's because they heavily
physically assault her. Ultimately, WQHT, the owners of Hot 97, came to the conclusion that Wendy was a legal liability and they permanently removed Wendy from the air, causing her fans to protest outside of their offices. And in light of recent allegations against Diddy, many suggest that he used his powers in the industry to get her fired. Charlemagne the God seems to think so.
That was Wendy. Wendy's whole thing was Diddy was gay since the 90s.
She knew, dog.
No, Wendy was throwing that out there.
Apology.
That's why Wendy got fired from Hot 97. Wendy got fired from Hot 97 by Diddy because that's when Bad Boy was smoking hot.
Wow.
And yeah, she got fired for putting that out there.
This was a major hit for Wendy's turbulent career. She was contractually prohibited from taking another New York radio job for 8 months. So she went over to Philadelphia's Power 99 FM station and signed a $250,000 contract. However, while other broadcasters might interpret this as a sign to maybe slow down, stay quiet, play it safe, Wendy continued forward with the shock jock formula that had made her famous. In 2001, having boosted Power 99's listenership, she ultimately returned to New York to reclaim her throne as the queen of radio during Wednesday afternoons at WBLS. This show was called The Wendy Williams Experience. And on this show, you got typical Wendy, back like she never left, mouthing off about whatever celebrity drama was permeating throughout the
that big ass wig. Why her ass so goddamn big?
Culture. Except this time, fans would often hear their favorite celebrities call the station to confront Wendy on air. Mariah Carey, Destiny's Child, and even Judge Mathis called up to give Wendy a piece of their mind.
Let's talk about fueling your stuff. You, on the other hand, have admitted to being addicted to cocaine.
Absolutely.
Secondly, you continue to show symptoms of your addiction.
Okay.
Lastly,
what
I
are those
heard that
symptoms? Tell me.
These nasal passages you keep
yes.
coughing up.
And I did Afrin.
This eternal cold that you continue to have.
Yes,
that you can't have to come to work because every other week, and now you even stupid so low as to blame it on your baby, your newborn. How low can you get? That's about as low as you can get to blame your child for your cocaine addiction. Then, lastly, your bisexual activity. I'm sure your audience knows that. Yeah. Oh, he watches? Does he watch when you do it?
Yes. Don't you know?
No, I don't know. I didn't know you were that low down. Lastly, we can continue with what I heard about all those abortions. Like 8. You had 8 abortions. That's what I heard. That's the rumor. Now you want to keep fueling that? Did you write about that in your book?
I wrote about abortion in my book.
All 8 of them?
Yes, I wrote.
In 2006, Wendy took things to
Judge Mathis was just deep frying her stupid ass, nigga. You better stop playing with Judge Junior James Mathis, nigga. Stop playing with that nigga.
too far when she revealed on her radio show that rapper Method Man's wife, Tamika Smith, had been diagnosed with cancer, despite the fact that the rapper and his wife wanted to keep that information private. Following Williams' on-air revelation, Method Man appeared on The Breakdown, where he called out Wendy for outing his family's private information.
I'd like to thank Wendy Williams for bringing that to the masses, because she didn't have to go on the radio and say that shit. I like to keep stuff like that private, but yeah, she was sick.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want?
Big
With
mouth
Wix,
ass,
you
big
can.
nostril, big glasses, big hair having eyes.
First up,
Come on, bro.
let's talk about AI color themes. You can get any...
Fucking up my stream.
But everything's all right now. All right.
Better than what it was.
Well, then that's what's up. That's what's
better
up.
than what it was.
That's what's up, man. I know a lot of us go through it. You know what I
I
mean?
be feeling like, yo, that ain't nobody f***ing business right there, though. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. And that's her business. She didn't want anybody to know about it. You know what I'm saying? And I respected her wishes right there. So for the media to bring that and put that out there like that, I think that shit is mad tacky and disrespectful. Wendy Williams did it. All right, her. She's the one that did it. We still live in our same community where we used to live at. The people that lived around her didn't know she was sick till you said that shit.
But perhaps the most memorable argument from this era was when she went back and forth with Whitney Houston. In 2003, Whitney Houston's label approached the station for her album promotion. However, Whitney's team changed their minds after learning that Wendy would be the one conducting the interview, mainly because of Williams' past coverage of Houston. In an odd turn of events, Whitney called the station directly.
When your husband was incarcerated for those few days, what types of things do you tell her concerning, like, do you say, like, daddy's away visiting Boston?
I don't really talking to a retard. She's a sped patient. She's a child who has intelligence.
Okay.
My child is smart.
No, what
I talk to shush your mouth. I talk to her like she's an intelligent human being, okay? And I give her just as much as she can handle for a 9-year-old because I'm her mother, okay? And that's how we deal with it. Never mind what I told her, but she know the deal.
Well, a lot of parents whose spouse or what have you goes through something, particularly because that was only 8 days, would have either taken them out of school for the 8 days or taken them away from watching TV to, see headlines.
I do what I do to protect my daughter, Wendy, just like you would do to protect your son, okay? All right.
You are very defensive, Whitney.
Why the fuck is she asking this lady about how she parents her motherfucking child? Bitch, leave her the motherfucker alone. Big face ass.
Have to be, Wendy. You talk about me every f***ing day.
Well, Whitney,
every other day.
Whitney, you keep yourself in the headlines.
No, Wendy, y'all keep me in the headlines. I mind my business. I try to maintain what I got. I want to know what I'm doing all the time. I don't give a shit about what you're doing all the time. As long as you're healthy and God is blessing you and you're doing the right thing and being a decent person, I can handle that.
This clip perfectly exemplifies the Wendy Williams formula. Bring up a bunch of alleged rumors, scandals, or controversies in a passive-aggressive tone, then when the person gets offended, which is extremely normal, accuse them of overreacting. This is textbook gaslighting. The only difference is, this time, Whitney was not giving in, and was able to debunk every one of Wendy's arguments. And while you may think that Wendy might have felt embarrassed by her behavior or some sort of shame, she felt the exact opposite. In fact, this interview was conducted off-air. Wendy chose to air it after. I thought the issue was dead, the station manager recalled. The next thing I know, Wendy is running down the hallway telling me, "Boss, you ain't gonna believe what I got on tape." This interaction is another example of Wendy realizing that all of this chaos and drama, even if she is the one who looks bad, is good for business. Ratings are priority number one. Humility, shame, and dignity all come after. But it's hard to blame her when, again, she only kept getting rewarded by the Hollywood machine for this behavior. Wendy got an opportunity to host a made-for-television version of The Wendy Williams Experience.
Jesus Christ. This is a horrible picture. Who the fuck was doing her hand? Who told her this is okay?
Which aired on VH1. She and her co-host, Charlemagne the God, were able to broadcast their show to the entire country.
He considered like having extra fun. He didn't admit it to me.
Lucy, stop it! Denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay. He's guys. If you want to stay, there's nothing wrong with it. To each his own when it comes to relationships, Lucy.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, the show was canceled after one season, and it seemed like Wendy's dreams of transitioning from radio to television were
Ugly
looking
ass.
bleak. However, in 2008, Debmar Mercury approached her and wanted to offer her a job as the host of a new daytime talk show, The Wendy Williams Show.
Wendy Williams' show is set apart from the other shows because I'm giving the Wendy. And I'm not a polished journalist. I'm just a nosy woman from the suburbs of New Jersey, and I want it all.
Fox signed a deal with Debmar Mercury to broadcast the show nationally on their stations, beginning in July of 2009. BET also acquired cable rights to air the program at night, and in 2010, BET International started airing the show in 54 different countries. The show was an overnight sensation, with 2.4 million daily viewers on average, as Wendy alternated daily with Ellen DeGeneres as the #1 female host on daytime TV. While Ellen
Damn.
focused more on feel-good entertainment, comedy, and heartwarming stories, Williams knew what her audience wanted: to discuss celebrities' personal lives, controversies, and scandals.
I just learned that Chris Brown was leaving an airport. His Twitter name is Mechanical Dummy. And he twittered that one of the men around him reminded him of me, Wendy Williams.
He twittered. He tweeted. They let this illiterate bitch be on a fucking talk show. Damn, she that dumb? Hold on, let me check my chat real quick. Maybe. Okay, maybe you can ping your chat or something. I forget. I need to learn how to do that low key. I ain't gonna front, bro. I need to learn how to pin my chat on my screen and shit, bro. I'm gonna figure it out after this live though. I ain't gonna front. I definitely need to figure that out though. If you still in the chat right here. It's some way that I could do it through like stream elements or some shit. I forget, but I'm gonna be able to do it, bro. Trust and believe that.
Williams. In other words, he's calling me a man. Well, you know what?
What's up,
At
Williams
least
Art?
if I was a man, then I would spend my time bullying other men, perhaps, and not other women. What this young man doesn't understand is that, old Miss Wendy has been around for a while regarding radio. And I've got a huge funny bone. And before I make a joke about anybody else, I can break myself down head to toe and make jokes. A long time ago, many, many moons ago, I made the correlation between my persona and that of a drag queen. So therefore, Chris Brown wasn't saying anything. I tell you what the young junior can do, though. He can go get himself some help and stop beating up women, because that there is a fact.
Wendy's ability to make the audience feel like they were just chatting with a friend over the juiciest news contributed significantly to the show's popularity.
Somebody said in our Hot Topics meeting that he's not aging the way a lot of 40-year-olds age, like he's aging fast. Maybe it's the thin hair, receding hairline, and the beard?
A big chin ass. Streamlabs or StreamYard. Just chilling, thanks. What you mean Streamlabs or StreamYard? StreamYard Wizard. Or Windsor. If you still in the chat. Or chat on screen. So you know how to do that shit. So I definitely need to learn how to do that. So is it a way what was I gonna ask you? Is it a way that I can do it through do I have to do it through OBS or do I have to do it like separate? Or is it a way that I can do it through OBS? Pretty much. You can do it in OBS too. Okay. Alright, so when I do it on the Streamlabs shit, am I gonna what was I finna say? Am I gonna have to am I gonna be able to like put it on my screen? 'Cause I'm doing it through a laptop. Am I gonna be able to drag the chat from one tab to the next, or am I only gonna be able to see it on one tab? You can do it in OBS. I know I can do it in OBS, but I can't drag my chat out of OBS. Just search OBS overlay. Just search OBS chat overlay. I bet I'm gonna search that. I'm gonna search that, bro. Appreciate you for telling me that. I'm gonna figure that shit out.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. He still gets the girls. Any girls he wants. He was spotted leaving a club with not one, not 3 women, 20. And we don't know whether he was going back there and having sex with all of them. Maybe 5 of them were having sex together and he watched.
Makes you like the stream.
And then maybe he would jump in
subscribe.
and then jump out and then take a shower and leave the girls for themselves. Then
yeah, that's what I do. I want it on the screen, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I think you can do it with the 3 dots on the top right of the chat. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, but that's when I go to the stream and I pop the chat out. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, OBS chat overlay. I know what you talking about, low key. But when I do it that way, alright, hold on. Let me see something. 'Cause look. Boom. I need to learn how to do that shit better, low-key. Oh shit, Jamari just dropped a new video. I gotta tune into that. Let me see something. 'Cause look, my nigga, when I go here, boom, and then I go to live, right? And then I go down here, and then I go boom. Like I can do this, like look, the 3 dot shit. So there might be an option on that. Yeah, I'm knowing. Look. Okay, boom, and then go pop out chat. See, I can do it like this. Like if you come back over here to my stream, low key, and say he wants to stream on the screen. Yeah, Windsor, click on my page, bro, and look at my desktop stream. This is the one he was talking about. I've done this before, but you can't drag it. You can't drag this chat to You can't drag this chat to the next screen. You can just pop it out. You feel what I'm saying? Like this, I can see this one. This is cool. Like this, alright. Like I can see this one, but I can't move it like over here and shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like to this screen where like I'm watching the video. Feel me? You dig what I'm saying? Like if I'm over here with it, I can't drag it to this screen to where I'm doing the reaction. So in the chat, and OBS doesn't have other options. No, the chat and OBS ain't got this option where you got the 3 dots and you push the whole, you feel what I'm saying? You push the shit to pop the chat out. It ain't got this option. But the shit that I think it's a way I can do it like this. Like, hold on, how was I finna do that shit? It's a way I can do it like this. Like I can do it like, hold on. I think this is it this one? Or is it this one? It might be something like this. Like, look, I can do this, or I could just have it like split screen. But it looked kind of dumb. You feel what I'm saying? I see some streams have the chat with the invisible background. Yeah, I think that's what my nigga Windsor on this stream was talking about. Like through Streamlabs. I think I could do it through Streamlabs. I might just keep it like this. Yeah, I'm on this one now. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I could do some split screen shit like this, where I could still do, like, where I can still do the reaction, and motherfuckers in OBS, like, on my OBS shit, can still pretty much see, I think. Is my shit frozen? What the fuck? Okay, my shit not frozen. See, now it's doing dumb shit. Or I can do like this and shit, but that shit look dumb, bro. I don't like that shit. Yeah, like this. I can do this. I think so, yeah. What stream is it? Yeah. See, I can do this shit, but and my stream type delayed, so I don't know how to fix that delay shit neither. But yeah, I can see y'all. Windsor, when I get done with this video, I'm gonna try to do that Streamlabs shit. I ain't gonna front, like, cause that shit low key helpful that you just said. That I ain't gonna lie.
Then maybe calling the security guards to take a turn. Like, you just don't know.
Wendy developed her Hot Topics segment, which was essentially an ongoing gossip series where she kept her audience up to date on the latest drama. Some recurring hot topics were Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Taylor Swift, Lindsay Lohan, the royal family, the Kardashians, Ariana Grande, Diddy, and other major A-listers.
Guess who's jealous of Adele? Beyonce.
Yeah, look up OBS overlay. Yeah, I remember I was looking it up yesterday, and it was just telling me to do it like it was telling me a whole bunch of shit. I went to Stream Elements. Stream Elements had it. Like Stream Elements had a way you can pop it up, but I still couldn't get it on my screen and shit. But you might be right, like Streamlabs. I think Streamlabs might be the way to do it. And then like Streamlabs, like it had like the little mod shit in your chat and shit like that. I'm gonna figure it out after this video. We gonna do that shit if you still here.
According to In Touch magazine, Beyonce feels overshadowed by Adele. Beyonce and Kim Kardashian have both lost their crowns because it's all about Taylor Swift. So Taylor has officially become the most popular person on Instagram. What I love about this story is that she's become popular without ever having to expose booty cheek, fake thigh gap, cleavage, or any of the above. Like, Taylor is just, do you know what I mean? The idea that, you know, that Kim has become famous by laying on her back, that Beyonce, while a beautiful and talented girl, everything, well, a lot on her social media is more sexualized. And all Taylor does is expose pictures of her cats.
Throughout the show's meteoric run, Wendy's unfiltered commentary ranged from cheeky references to unhinged takes on extremely dark issues, like when she called R&B singer Trey Songz dreamy while discussing his domestic violence charges.
So Trey Songz was arrested yesterday for allegedly beating up a woman that he was dating. They were at a party. There were a lot of people around who witnessed this, according to the woman. He was charged with felony domestic assault. Isn't he just so dreamy? Yes. I mean, I do believe I heard, and Norman did too, one of our co-hosts over here, we're not going to zoom in on her, say, beat me.
He beat up a woman. Audience gasps in shock. But isn't he so dreamy? Oh my god, yes. Her audience are like primary school kids. Karrueche Tran, Chris Brown's ex-girlfriend, filed a 5-year restraining order against Chris and won. Brown allegedly texted her, "Bitch, I will beat the shit out of you, and I promise I will make your life hell." Tran claimed in a sworn statement that Brown had previously, quote, punched me in my stomach twice and pushed me down the stairs. But Wendy Williams thought Karrueche had ulterior motives.
We know why Karrueche was with Chris Brown. She claims, you know, that she was with Chris because, you know, nice personality and whatever. She was with Chris because she's a thought who was after the dollar. I mean, this is not exactly a...
I mean, damn, Wendy... This bitch kind of vulgar, ain't she?
Girl who has her own business and her own coins. That's the stupidest question ever to ask a girl of this nature. Like, why is she with a celebrity who's wealthy? Duh.
Wendy was oddly hypocritical in the way that she criticized women for things that she openly struggled with. She criticized Lil' Kim for her botched plastic surgeries when Wendy had multiple plastic surgeries herself. She claimed Ariana Grande was too small to be a real woman due to her height and frame.
She's the size of a baby. She's only 5 feet. It's not like I'm saying that, you know. So she's just a little munchkin. She's probably 80 pounds soaking wet. So first of all, the carrying is not like carrying a full...
you 80 pounds soaking wet. How the fuck you gonna skinny shame a motherfucker and your bones showing too, motherfucker?
Fully formed woman. You know, she's 21. She'll forever look 12, which, you know, I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that in a, you know, it's nice to look younger than you are, but when you look too young and then you're short, she's only like 4 feet 11. I don't look at her as like a woman. And she will forever be a little girl to me. Even when she hits notes and sings about love, like, what do you know about love? It's just, I guess, a stereotype for somebody who's like 4 feet 11 and with big googly eyes.
Williams also called out Beyonce's poor speaking skills and called her uneducated, despite Wendy being bullied by her friends and family as a child for not having the same academic prowess that they had.
So I'll be able to understand what she says. She, you know, Beyonce can't talk. Beyonce sounds like she's got a 5th grade education. She can't talk. Excuse me, I just said I'm a fan, but we have to call a spade a spade.
And while Wendy was willing to tone down her outlandish takes and intrusive thoughts while inviting a guest onto her show, she still would apply pressure and ask questions her audience wanted to know.
Game has a song, and in the song you clearly hear him say that he slept with 3 Kardashians. Now, I've got a picture of an array of Kardashians, including the mother, because, okay. Have you slept with Khloe?
If a celebrity was scheduled for an interview on the Wendy Williams show, they needed to be prepared for Wendy to ask them about their relationship status, substance abuse issues, and feuds, among other gossipy things.
The big thing happened at the Bunny Ranch. You were only there for a few days.
I mean, I wasn't there for a day.
You weren't there for a day?
I woke up in a coma. I don't know if I spent more than a day there. I don't think so.
More than a day. Okay. Were you high, Lamar?
No. I think that was God just trying to talk to me, get me to stop doing whatever I was doing. Because I didn't take any drugs that night.
Well, how many women were in the room?
2. And I didn't have sex.
So you didn't do drugs, but by the way, the toxicology report showed that you had cocaine in your system. Real talk.
Okay, but I didn't.
Okay.
However, much like her time on the radio, Wendy still felt the need to push things over the line for shock value, like the time she was fishing for gossip from Lindsay Lohan while her entire family was in the live audience.
There's a picture in the tabloids a few years ago, and there was a whole bunch of white powder around your feet.
Oh, baby powder. You know this, you're a girl. If your shoes are too tight, you either put lotion or baby powder so they slide in easier.
Gotcha.
Ballerinas do it all the time.
Gotcha.
But seriously, in all honesty, if that were anything else, who's gonna put it in their shoe?
People who want numb feet. Are you sexually fluid? Do you consider yourself sexually fluid? I remember you had a romantic relationship with Samantha Ronson.
No, I like men.
Okay. Well, you liked a girl at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was living in LA.
Or when she was extremely distasteful while asking about the details of Kelly Rowland's abusive relationship.
But what I was shocked about is that you were in an abusive relationship.
I was in a relationship that was so hard on me.
How many years?
It was a long time. Nobody knew about it, of course. I said, you'll never know. In the song, I make that very clear. But even thinking about it is just so crazy. You know what I mean? That I could actually think
this bitch, Wendy Williams.
Not think even more of myself in that time to get out of it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what is so important about Dirty Laundry to me, is because I wanted young girls to know if they are in these relationships, they got to get out.
It's like, was he punching you in the head or was it mental abuse?
I'd
rather
not get into the details of it.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's important. To me, the most important thing was sharing the message.
Yes.
Telling young girls that this is real and letting them know I'm human.
I'm sure you're noticing a pattern here. Celebrities know that Wendy is going to go fishing, so they have to do their best to remain calm, collected, and professional, because if it was up to Wendy, they would get messy. You can see this on full display when Tiana was trying to talk about her art, and then Wendy interrupted her to bring up gossip. Tiana had to remain calm and steer the conversation back.
A lot of emotion in that dance.
Because she had a best friend who slept with her man, okay? Now let's break it down. Are you still friends with her? Okay. Look, look, only because, Tiana, there are a lot of dumb girls who would forgive the friend and stay with.
Oh, girl, I ain't seen her since.
Wendy violated by even bringing up her friend sleeping with her man. Sometimes celebrities have to set the record straight. They will not tolerate Wendy's behavior.
The hell was that? I said, smooth you out. Smooth me out. What does that mean? We're talking, have a nice conversation.
Let's have a conversation.
Omarosa. Oh, no, I know how to chill. Okay. But I will not be disrespected.
Damn.
Okay.
What female did you say? She just clocked her team? She just clocked her
This
shit.
is not the time for you to look
She
for
stopped
your
playing
moment.
me,
I
bitch.
invited you to stand. The book. We're going to talk about the book. All right, well, let's get to it, Wendy. Oh, don't, I want to look at it and show it to, well, and
50 Cent was one celebrity who was not willing to put up with Wendy's criticism of his parenting.
Damn, 50, your lying. What? That motherfucker. What? Forehead big than a bitch, ain't it? Come on, man. Why y'all fucking do that?
Which has been very public. When Marquise turned 21, 50 made a joke post that he would be throwing a child support release party, and Wendy thought that was a low blow.
Oh, please, he is petty spaghetti. No, I don't really think he's throwing a party. I just think he's being petty on social media. And Marquise, I'm sorry that all this is happening for you. Anyway, 50 apologized afterwards, saying he's insensitive because he never met his dad and his mom was killed when he was 8. 50 is how old now? 40?
42.
42. Too old to be blaming some of his adult behavior on his lack of childhood rearing. You're
Come on, bro. We getting dicks ads. Watch out, bro.
42. You got a 21-year-old son. You know, get your life.
Although this seems like moderate criticism, 50 clapped back extra hard. He posted a picture of her in a bikini on Instagram with the caption that read, "Wendy Williams just told me to get my life together." Shaking my head. Your husband is not a bad man. He deserve a side chick for talking to you. You ugly MFer. Focus on your own shit, bitch. Oh yeah, we in Club Lust tonight. You're invited, LOL. He made another post on Instagram letting her know that she messed with the wrong one, and he would not hold his tongue.
God
but their beef
damn. She look like, She like a wombat.
Continued a year later when 50 Cent threw a party in New Jersey and Wendy Williams was able to get in. As we saw from a picture she took with Snoop Dogg, apparently she just went to see Snoop and then left to avoid 50. Once the news was given to him that she showed up, he was furious.
I don't know what she was even doing there. Like, why would, I'm not going to Wendy Williams' parties.
Would you go on her show?
She at my party, huh? Why she there? She knew I was at that party. Why she going to that party? Snoop is only in New York because of me. Why she going to see Snoop? Go see him another time when I'm not there. Don't come where I'm at. I don't like you. Okay? I don't like you. You said things about me, and now I don't like you because you did it for years.
As we all know, 50 is a master troll, so whenever he felt like being petty, he would just throw up a picture making fun of Wendy. And as Williams' fan base grew, so did the number of people questioning her invasive strategy, believing that Wendy's ego had finally got out of control. While some took the good with the bad and claimed, that's just Wendy, others started to see the Wendy Williams show as sort of a mindless cult that didn't actually think about the things Wendy was saying.
Should she suffer? All right, clap if you think she should suffer. Clap if you've ever wanted to kill somebody.
Even Wendy would say things that genuinely shocked herself, like the time she wished death on Britney Spears' parents.
Dare you, Mr. Spears, you had me fooled. And you too, Mrs. Spears. Death to all of them.
Wendy Williams was hard to read. The moral lines were constantly blurred. Is it hypocrisy, or is she playing both sides for provocation? Does she lack self-awareness, or does she understand that the hate will make the show reach new viewers? Do celebrities actually care about her gossiping about them, or are they just playing the victim? No one can say for sure, but whatever it was, Wendy was getting rewarded for every scandal, and the media engine that she created wasn't slowing down. Unfortunately, her health was going to be a major factor.
God. Is this a ghost? My lord.
In halting her career. In October of 2017, the Wendy Williams Show held their annual Halloween episode where Wendy came out dressed as the Statue of Liberty. Everything seemed to be going smoothly, but something was a bit off with Wendy. Something that didn't match her usual eccentric persona, and suddenly she collapsed on stage.
Our first caress.
As the audience gasped, the show immediately cut to a commercial. When the show returned, Wendy, still in costume, was already back on stage and explained that she fainted from overheating. That was not a stunt, Wendy said. I overheated in my costume and I did pass out. But you know what? I'm a champ and I'm back. A spokesperson from the show told EW that Wendy overheated from her heavy costume, makeup, and the lights. However, Wendy was able to finish the show and would return the following day to film again. And of course, the internet memed this moment into oblivion. However, what seemed like a one-off silly moment was actually a sign of something much scarier.
Did you know you were gonna faint?
Yes. When we came back from the break, then I felt it. It felt like I was in the middle of a fire. It's starting down at my feet, going all the way up. I got very scared because it was a live show. I was more concerned with, when I fall, am I going to crack my skull?
Yeah.
And the security here thought that the bug-eyed look I gave was part of a stunt. Because I'm always doing tricks. This is the trick show. We're always doing tricks and stunts.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, so they thought that that was a part of something, so nobody came out until I hit the ground. Then, oh my gosh, chaos ensued.
Less than 4 months after she fainted on live television, Williams announced that she would be taking an indefinite hiatus to be treated for Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disorder that causes the thyroid gland to become overactive, also known as hyperthyroidism. In Graves' disease, the immune system mistakenly attacks the thyroid, a butterfly-shaped gland in the neck that produces hormones regulating metabolism. This attack causes the thyroid to produce excessive hormones, speeding up the body's metabolism. This disease can cause a person to have heart palpitations and tremors, rendering them anxious, irritable, and shaky. In roughly 30% of patients, including Wendy, the disease can inflame the muscles and tissues around the eyes. This would be the accurate explanation behind Wendy's bulging eyes. Wendy's health complications seemed more alarming than she led her audience to believe.
It's like Bam Adebayo. My cousin got zip. Look at what we got.
Come on, that shit trash.
leave. But she would return to the Wendy Williams Show after a 3-week hiatus, where she opened up about putting her health first.
21 days hiatus. And this is coming from the woman who told me not that long ago, I don't take days off.
I don't take sick days. In the entire almost 10 years of doing the show, I've never taken a sick day. Really, Amy, it was a perfect storm. A perfect storm that had been brewing, I have to say, internally, knowing my body, since late July.
Wendy reassured everyone that she felt 100% better than she had a few months prior, trying to convince her audience that this was just a phase, and to try to forget that that accident ever happened. That wouldn't last long. A year later, Wendy revealed to her audience that she had been staying at a sober living house.
Caught up in their addiction and looking for help. They don't know I'm Wendy. They don't care I'm Wendy. There's no autographs. There's no nothing. It's the brothers and sisters caught up in the struggle. Nobody knew. Because I look so glamorous out here. After I finished my appointments, seeing my brothers and sisters, and I am driven by my 24-hour sober coach back to a home with a bunch of smelly boys who've become my family. They hog the TV and watch soccer, and we talk and read and talk and read, and then I get bored with them. Doors locked by 10 p.m., lights out by 10 p.m., so I go to my room, and I stare at the ceiling, and I fall asleep to wake up to come back here to see you.
At the end of the segment, Williams promoted a 24/7 hotline launched by the Hunter Foundation, which she founded with her husband and son. Wendy said the hotline had already placed 56 people from around the world in recovery centers. Unfortunately, 50 Cent used this as a time to take some shots at her. He posted on Instagram a picture of her looking disheveled with the caption, "I knew something was up with this bitch. It was the drugs. She better not talk about me, then go to rehab every day, crackhead." Unfortunately, Wendy's health wasn't the only aspect of her life seeing a steep decline. By 2018, the same unforgiving attitude from the 90s that many had grown to love no longer appeared to have a place in today's climate. While many characters from the Shock Jock era aim to soften their approach,
1 a.m. here. Take care, see you around. Appreciate you, low-key, for tuning in, bro. Appreciate you, brother.
Wendy was Wendy. She just didn't seem to see the writing on the wall. During an episode of The Wendy Williams Show, she addressed the allegations of sexual misconduct against musician R. Kelly, where, in the eyes of many, she seemingly held the victims accountable. After learning that the hashtag #MuteRKelly was trending on Twitter as a protest to remove Kelly from the music industry, Williams made her first real critical mistake.
I'm sick of this Me Too movement. You know, I love that people are speaking up for the first time and coming out and everything, but I look at all men like you're a Me Too. All of them, which is not fair.
Wendy said, "The multiple allegations of R. Kelly holding women in his home, where are their parents? Allegedly, the parents are complaining, but where are their parents? It has nothing to do with Me Too. R. Kelly is just a very sick man." She then had the audience clap if they still listened to R. Kelly, which they did. Wendy continued slipping. For the first time in years, her finger wasn't on the pulse of American pop culture. She may have still had the loyalty of her aging fan base, but she didn't seem to have that same awareness she once had, a deep understanding of the latest shifts in public consciousness. The founder of the Me Too movement, Tarana Burke, would express her disappointment in a...
God damn. Her nose. Why the fuck? Nigga, her nose the size of this motherfucking Dr. Pepper can. Jesus Christ. You know what she looked like? She looked like that, she looked like that hippopotamus from, Madagascar. What was her name? Like Glorious? Some shit.
Series of tweets. "I heard what Wendy said yesterday and was disgusted by it. This is why black women and girls are hesitant about coming forward with their Me Too. Wendy Williams, who blames the victim. You really think a 13-year-old girl is to blame for sex with a 30-plus-year-old man? I tried to hold my tongue, but I can't. Yes, Wendy said he was sick, but pivoted to blaming the parents. Focus. He is the predator. period. How dare you get on national TV and say his victims can't say me too? When asked if Wendy felt her comments were more sympathetic to Kelly than the alleged victims, Williams responded, "I feel like I know things about R. Kelly that he's told me himself that I promised I would keep in confidence," she told the Washington Post. "When I make a promise about keeping something in confidence, I do, and that's that." Wendy just seemed to be digging herself a hole deeper and deeper. As if the timing couldn't be worse, a month later, Wendy had a strange interaction regarding a barely legal Marcus Scribner when she asked the 18-year-old Blackish star about his virginity, but he wouldn't answer.
Are you a virgin?
Wendy trying to hit me with the difficult questions.
You don't have to answer.
All right, I'll leave it a mystery for the audience to
okay.
decide.
Then Wendy discovered in 2019 that her husband Kevin had a secret family on the side. Her husband's infidelity had been a point.
Create a voiceover using your own voice.
I mean, damn, who would have known?
Point of speculation for years. As her reputation began spiraling down, nobody outside of her fan base really felt sorry for her.
You know, stuff happens in life.
Yeah.
Stuff happens, and it's okay. I've still got a very full life that I really endured. Please don't make me cry.
Okay, I won't.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. I didn't plan on this, but it is what it is. And I have got to go eat my food with potato salad and everything, and I got to get on the plane in the morning, but I have a very full life. Thank you for watching. I would ask you to respect our privacy, but please, I don't respect people's privacy. That's why I do the hot topics. So
Yeah.
Turnabout is a fair game, but all three of us are doing fine.
Are we gonna see the three of you guys? Yeah, I mean, together as even maybe not as a married
Yes,
couple again, but
yes,
as a
of
family
course
again.
you will. Kevin's got to graduate from college. He's going into sophomore year. He's going to get married or whatever. He's going to celebrate. Yes, everybody's got to grow
And
up.
is he gonna be back with his father again?
Yes,
You was in
they're
here
not.
before?
They're not apart. I mean, you know, stuff happens
What was your
in
profile
life.
picture before?
In January of 2020, amid the blockbuster success of Todd Phillips's Joker, Wendy mentioned actor Joaquin Phoenix. She called him oddly attractive before using her finger to pull up a part of her lip to resemble a cleft palate.
When he shaves off his mustache, he's got a hairline fracture. He's got one of those, what do you call it? Cleft lip.
Just a
Cleft
green-
palate. He's got this. He's got this. No, I find it to be.
I think I
find it to
remember
be
that.
very attractive.
Was you in
This
here
angered
yesterday?
people around the world, including Canadian football player Adam Bighill, who has a son born with a cleft lip. After a week of campaigning for Wendy to apologize, including a petition in favor of firing her that garnered over 70,000 signatures, she apologized to Adam Bighill
Oh,
and also made a
what's up with
charitable
you, Nate?
donation to Operation Smile and the American Cleft Palate
It was like a month
Craniofacial
ago.
Association. But
Oh,
pop
okay,
star
bet,
Cher
bet, bet,
thought this
bet.
wasn't good
See, at
enough
least you
and
told me, bro.
demanded that Wendy be fired. Less than a month later, Williams found
Like the
herself in
stream for
another
me, bro.
controversy after she criticized
I'm
gay
doing
men
a,
for wearing
desktop
skirts
right now.
and
We
high
doing
heels,
reactions.
declaring, "You'll never be the woman
It's
that
on
we
my
are,
page.
no
It's
matter
if you
how
want to tweet
gay." The comments came during a segment about Galentine's Day, the fake holiday inspired by Parks and Recreation. Wendy apologized, "I did not mean to offend my LGBTQ+ community on yesterday's show. One thing I can tell you right now is that I never do the show in a place of malice. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just having a conversation." But yet again, that same week, she made one of the worst decisions of her career while reporting the murder of Drew Carey's ex-fiancée, Amy Harwick. She was discovered beneath the balcony of her Los Angeles home and later passed away at the hospital. At the time, the exact circumstances surrounding her death were unclear, but Harwick was reportedly strangled and thrown from the third floor after a home invasion. Authorities identified the suspect as her ex-boyfriend, Gareth Pershouse. While reporting on this incident, Wendy attempted to make a joke, but this was no laughing matter.
She was killed not by Drew, but by the ex. Come on down.
At this point, people criticizing Wendy's behavior on social media was becoming a repetitive cycle. I'm sorry, she still has a job after this? Really? That's absurd. She's a horrible human. For once, her mindless audience didn't clap. Wendy has made her empire on being a mean girl since the hip-hop radio days. Glad her audience decided to not ride with her on this one. Then again, Wendy wasn't exactly
been on,
known
Nate?
for her
You still on here?
empathy reporting on people's deaths.
Miss Melody may have passed away, I think.
She passed away? Oh. Mm. All right, MC Light.
In 2021, Williams stepped down from The Wendy Williams Show due to her health complications. She would be replaced by several guest hosts in her absence, including actress and comedian Sherri Shepherd, who took a majority of the hosting duties. In what should have been a temporary solution, alarm bells rang in January 2022 when Variety reported that Wendy, who had not made an on-air appearance in months, wouldn't be returning to The Wendy Williams Show anytime soon. To make matters worse, reports indicated that Shepherd had become a fan favorite, emerging as a frontrunner to potentially take over Wendy's time slot. The immediate reaction from many of Wendy's critics was that this was karma, a long-awaited cosmic punishment for making a career out of putting others in the hot seat only to spill their tea in front of millions of people, whether they like it or not. But tensions cooled a little bit when fresh news started coming out about Wendy, about the horrific series of tragedies she was facing in her personal life. Within the same month of stepping down as America's drama queen, reports surfaced that Wells Fargo had frozen her accounts, requesting a New York Supreme Court hearing to determine whether she needed guardianship due to her health conditions. Williams immediately denied the accusations, pointing the finger at her former manager and raving about a Wells Fargo financial advisor for misconduct. Her attorney, LaShawn Thomas, said in a statement, on behalf of Wendy Hunter, professionally known as Wendy Williams, as counsel to her and her affairs, Wendy wants the world to know that she strenuously denies all allegations about her mental health and well-being. In an affidavit filed with the New York Supreme Court, Williams stated, "For more than 2 weeks, Wells Fargo has repeatedly denied my request to access my financial assets, which totaled over several $million. I have submitted multiple written requests to Wells Fargo, and I have visited various Wells Fargo branches in the South Florida area in an effort to resolve this matter outside of the courtroom." Suddenly, it was Wendy who was in the hot seat, facing speculation and negative attention from the tabloids she once used as a reference to build her empire. And despite disputing allegations regarding her deteriorating health, a judge appointed a temporary financial guardian in March of 2022. Wendy's attorney told The Hollywood Reporter, if it's the court's intention to have one appointed over her affairs for the long haul, she definitely isn't going to accept that. This all seemed to happen rather fast. Yeah, we knew her physical health may not have been the best over the past few years, but her mental health? And it was apparently so bad that she could not have access to her bank accounts? This seemed to escalate pretty quickly. Fans got even more suspicious when Wendy posted this video to Instagram claiming that her financial advisor, Lori Schiller, was setting her up.
My thing is that I've been asking questions about my money. And when I began asking questions about my money, suddenly Lori Schiller has got no response regarding my money. I want my money. This is not fair. And Lori Schiller and Wells Fargo have this guardianship petition about keeping me away from my money. And this guy named Bernie Young, I know for a fact that Bernie Young used my American Express card to hire an attorney to file a petition against me. That was done with my American Express card.
So Wendy alleges that her team, her financial advisor, and her ex-manager Bernie Young have essentially staged a coup against her. They were able to convince a judge that she was mentally unstable and couldn't be in charge of her own finances. It's also even more suspicious that she received a court-appointed guardian instead of one of her family members. Now, this usually requires some sort of medical diagnosis or official documentation to prove that she is unfit to take care of herself. Well, Wendy seems to accuse them of going to an old doctor of hers for medical records that she never received.
And then there's this person, a former doctor had medical information about me that I never even got. It was sent over to Lori Schiller. So I haven't gotten this stuff. I fired the doctor, and again, all I want to know is where is my money? This is not right.
After Wendy spoke out, her financial advisor claims she's a prisoner in her own home and had to hire armed security amid death threats. Around the same time, Debmar Mercury announced that the Wendy Williams Show would end after 14 seasons. They also announced that Sherri Shepherd, who held the mantle in Wendy's absence, would receive a talk show titled Sherri that would take over the time slots held by Williams' show on the Fox-owned and operated stations. But then in September, Wendy's representatives informed media outlets that Williams had entered a wellness facility and intended to start a new project post-recovery. She's taking some time to focus on her health and wellness as she prepares for a major comeback for the next level in her career with the Wendy Experience podcast. Miss Williams is being treated by a team of some of the best doctors in the world. We ask for your prayers and well wishes during this time, but this was merely wishful thinking. Wendy would never again sit as a talk show host, spilling tea, making conspiracy theories about the hottest celebrities. It was all over. In November, Williams returned to the public eye, and her health complications were worse than her team had originally predicted. According to her representatives, Wendy was diagnosed with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia in 2023, and subsequently entered a cognitive facility. And from there, whenever she...
We all dream of a brighter future, but some doors appear shut.
She was spotted in public or clips of her made the rounds on social media, fans just looked at it as sad. A documentary titled Where is Wendy Williams aired on Lifetime in February of 2024. The documentary is a brutally honest portrayal of Williams' life in recent years, showing her memory loss and mood swings, along with alcohol abuse. In several scenes, Wendy is shown passed out in bed with an empty bottle of liquor beside her.
Why do you like liquor? Like, why do you like to drink?
Because I can.
When you have a drink, like, do you just have it just to have it, or is it because you're stressed out, or you're bored, or what?
No, just because I care for it, and I've always been bored.
Dementia is something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Regardless of how you feel about her, this is a horrible fate no one deserves. Again, this all happens suspiciously fast.
I ain't gonna lie, the fact that I kind of started this video off bagging on her, bro, but I feel bad now. Damn.
First, she disappears from her show, then she's deemed mentally unfit to manage her finances, and then she has dementia. Even her own son seems unsure if her diagnosis is genetic or alcohol-induced.
They basically said that
I'm doing another live stream on my laptop. I'm doing reactions right now. You gotta click on my page and then click on this live stream to see it. Cause this stream on my phone and shit.
Drinking so much, it was starting to affect her headspace and her brain. So I think they said it was alcohol-induced dementia.
It's also worth mentioning that experts cannot even come close to 100% guaranteeing that frontotemporal dementia is alcohol-induced.
There is no evidence to directly link alcohol and frontotemporal dementia. So about 40% of frontotemporal dementia cases are genetic, and the other 60% of the time, we're not really sure why it happens.
Additionally, Wendy's niece, Alex Finney, did a few interviews suggesting that the documentary that was released that painted Wendy as an alcoholic now suffering from dementia was not 100% accurate.
But yes, as a family, we know that there's more there. People are going to see that throughout the documentary. I think people are going to walk away saying, this is more than what we realized in terms of what we've read, whether it's things that might have seen on her show throughout the years that seemed a little off. People are going to walk away with that and say, what is really going on here with her medically?
This has led to reasonable speculation that Wendy is being set up by leeches who are trying to exaggerate her condition to gain control over and steal from her multi-million-dollar fortune.
What I will say in terms of things that I have seen over the last 2 years, yes, there were definitely people around her that you do question. Why are you here? What's your motive? How are you doing this job? Are you getting paid? Because I'm sure you're not doing it for free, right? You know, so there were those questions, and then obviously cognitively, with seeing my aunt in the state that she's in, you do wonder, okay, if she did sign off and hire you or whatever the case may be, was she aware of everything?
And this all leads us to where we are today. It's obvious that Wendy has some sort of mental and physical health issues, but is it as bad as we are being led to believe? Does Wendy actually have dementia? And even if she does, how bad does it need to be where she is not allowed to have access to her money? She was seen recently visiting her son's graduation in a wheelchair surrounded by armed bodyguards. Every time she makes a public appearance, her fans are convinced that she is not as unhealthy or cognitively impaired as the reports claim. Therefore, the question remains unanswered. Who benefits the most from Wendy Williams' demise? Wendy's biggest haters see her story as one of poetic justice. After profiting off spreading rumors, exposing celebrities at their lowest moments, and fueling public judgment, she became subject to the same ruthless scrutiny as her life unraveled. However, anyone with a shred of empathy can look at her current health status as nothing short of a tragedy. Dementia is a heartbreaking illness that deeply affects not only the victim, but their friends and family. We all know celebrities only benefit from gossip. Good news or bad news, all they want is for you to be talking about them, as their entire business model revolves around them being culturally relevant. Plus, Wendy was self-aware. She knew she was nosy and pushy, and when she got criticized, although it probably stung at the time and maybe she got a little bit defensive, she took it on the chin and kept pushing because she knew, well, if I do it to other people, they're gonna do it to me. In many ways, Wendy Williams was simply an engineer working for the almighty Hollywood machine. She fought her way up the ranks, understood what people wanted, and gave them exactly what they asked for.
Yeah, it was kind of one of them pieces on Wendy Williams, and kind of like a rise and fall of Wendy Williams, one of them type of shits. Damn. Shout out Wendy Williams, man. I hope she get over that shit she going through. Real shit. It's just a mindless behavior documentary. Yes, it is. I think I'm gonna have to watch that. My dog Jordan French. What crimes of soccer's biggest psychopath? Damn, it's a lot. I'm gonna have to tune in too. Who was here earlier? I'm just playing JJ's. Nothing much. What you mean, who was here earlier? I've been live on here for 2 hours and 54 minutes. That's insane. Jiu-Jitsu shenanigans. By the way, Roblox game. Oh, you saying you playing Roblox? Okay. I mean, that's tough. It seemed like 90% of my chat play fucking Roblox, bro. Not even gonna lie. Appreciate over just like the stream too. It be hella y'all in here, bro, with the Roblox shit. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all be repping that shit. Hella motherfuckers be asking me to play that shit too.
Get from you is that you feel like you're above us.
Just because the world shut down doesn't mean that you have to be shut down. You know, like this is a real great time to sharpen your
In a different place, you know.
You know, sharpen iron. My understanding
I'm in a
is
different place
that
now.
you can
Y'all know the Philippines.
rebuild your eye from
It'd be not a decent amount, but it'd be a couple people in here that be tuning to my streams from the Philippines, which is surprising. Shout out to y'all, bro. Shout out y'all. Shit, the UK, Germany. Who else? Shit, the Philippines, Germany, the UK. Pakistan, India. Y'all all be tuned in. I find that shit dope as hell. And you know, my streams will even be going over there. Or people would even be watching that shit, you know. I rock with y'all for that. I'm finna end this desktop stream though. Finna end this and find out how to get my chat on damn. My stream is so delayed, bro. It don't make no sense. But why am I only one chat in the chat? Always like this. Always like when I chat. Well, I mean, it be like that a lot. It be like that a lot in my streams, bro. Sometimes it's one person talking. Sometimes it's 2-3 people talking. Shit, sometimes it might be 4 or 5 people talking at one time. I found that with streaming, it's kind of hard to. It's easy to watch somebody stream and how they be like interacting with their chat, because you're gonna be able to respond to everybody, than to actually do the streaming and talk to everybody that's in your chat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me end this desktop stream real quick. I appreciate everybody who tuned in my stream, but I'm gone. I've been at this for about 3 hours. I'm gonna be back. I'll be back on here for y'all, man.